I'm sorry, I was muted.
No, you're fine. You're fine. This is
Yeah,
this
well,
is
yeah, I don't think it did, but I did hear tell somewhere that the rapture is supposed to occur on the 28th of the month. So
oh
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that
well.
perhaps it does, and we won't have to worry
I
about it.
finally ordered a new phone, so hopefully it gets here before then
Oh,
because I'm gonna need to. I'm gonna need to log into my Apple account before the rapture comes.
really?
The
Well, if you log into your Apple account, can you sort of start texting to Steve Jobs? I mean, he's in the
yeah,
hereafter. Maybe he's
well,
got maybe there's some
we
sort of
all know
way of
Steve. We all know Steve Jobs is in heaven. Okay, Stephanie.
do we do? We're sure of that, huh?
Mhm. Steve Jobs is. I just imagine they would have Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs' heaven would be giving speeches all day on a stage.
Yeah, or
Steve Jobs. Wow.
screwing his former business partners out of
Yeah,
stock
no
shares and
doubt.
stuff. I mean, I don't know. It's like
Steve Jobs was a
nobody's
snake.
perfect, you know. It's just, geez.
The Pirates of Silicon Valley is one of my favorite movies ever that talks about some of the real shit that happened with all that, Uh, and it barely skims the surface of what, the dirty stuff that Jobs and Gates and all those guys did, but it's an interesting story.
It is. It is. But it's people doing that people thing. They're just basically doing that people thing. Just going
You
from
may be
one day to
right.
the next, trying to trying to get shit done
Oh,
till
I see.
they're not anymore.
I see. We're streaming on Stephanie's channel too. Hi to you guys visiting from Stephanie's channel.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw the little thing, so I clicked the button and said, "Well, why not? Why not?
yeah,
Why
yeah,
not
of
have a
course.
you know? Why not have a little broaden the horizons as the Kentucky Atheist?" Well, and you've had some good success of late getting folks to come on and getting people to subscribe. I managed to crack 300 on 420
That's sweet.
subscribers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I couldn't
and
make it. I couldn't make it to. I wanted to come on your stream and I couldn't make it. My kid was being a kid, and I seen that you hit 300. Congratulations on that. Yeah,
yeah, thanks.
like a lot of mine though, Steph, is on the back of one really good video I did a long time ago. Like
Hmm.
I got like 300 subscribers in 2 days off of that video, and uh, so that was a big boost to part of it. My channel gets it's interesting because a lot of creators talk about people watch, but they're not subscribers. Whenever I go look, it's only subscribers. So
Yeah.
I've gotten a bunch of subscribers, but now it seems like I talk to the same group of people, which is cool with me. I like those people.
So I got, this was on the back. It's funny you should say that because this was on the back of a video I did. It was a 15-minute video that was basically thanking Forrest Valkai and John Gleason,
Oh
Forrest and
yeah,
Godless Engineer,
that was a good
for
video.
for the way they handled one call.
I
And I was the call screener that took the call, so it was all kinds of funny. It's
I
like,
I think
oh,
I
I
think
know
they
this guy Chuck is going to be. They're going to have fun with Chuck
yeah
because Chuck told me he wanted his pronouns to be listed as attack/helicopter,
yeah.
and I said, my dude, do you know who Igor Sikorsky was? And he said no, and I said, well, in that case, I'm not putting down attack helicopter for your uh, for your pronouns. How about if I just put in none given? And he goes, yeah, okay. Because he thought he was being funny. And, he didn't hear the wop, wop, wop in the background for some peculiar reason. I don't know. I didn't get clocked on the fucking phone with this idiot. But, but, So anyway, Morgan, who was producing, put a note on I added a note to the thing that the guy originally had his pronouns as attack helicopter, and uh, Forrest took the call, and he wanted to talk about um, how religion is an external phenotype.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, which is kind of an interesting thing. He did call in and actually did get to the and did have a conversation with Matt the next day, I think it was, and
Was Matt aware?
even his religion idea was just no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blaster Master 2005 is calling. Yeah, it's like 4chan. Hello.
Yeah.
But
That was an awesome clip though, for real. Of that was a nice call. They handled
yeah.
that perfectly. It was
Well, the best thing was that Forrest caught that and stuck on it. And he's, well, yeah, we can get to that. We can get to the religion as a external phenotype. Yeah, it sounds like an interesting topic, but I want to settle this first. You do realize what a shitty thing it is to do to put this mocking bullshit in your goddamn discriminator.
Yeah, hold them accountable. If they want to call in and be smartasses, hold them accountable for it. I think.
And the call went on for like 35 minutes, and the guy, the guy was sitting there taking his stripes, which credit to him for doing it. But my God, that was a thing of beauty. It was just so refreshing to say, okay, we can have this conversation that's 10,000 years old, or we can have one that's really, really important.
Yeah.
Is it important to the way we categorize religion, or is it more important the way we treat people?
Right, exactly.
And, and that was just such a stark difference from a lot of these things. John, at the beginning of the call, no disrespect, but he said, yeah, that was pretty shitty, but we can move on from that. And this was right at the beginning of the call, and Forrest goes, well, we're gonna have this conversation. And they had that conversation for 35 minutes.
Yeah. I think
great.
Well, now see, afterwards though, GE, once he spoke up though, I liked what he said too. They just that's how you handle that kind of thing right there. That's a master class in it. I think it was excellent.
It really was. John said, oh yeah, okay, well, I'm in. We'll do this thing. And it was great. The two of them just handled it really, really well, and just weren't taking any shit from the guys. Like, oh yeah, well, woe is me. And it's the usual making excuses. Well, I'm stupid and you're smart and all of this. And no, my man. No. That's not where it's at here. You don't get to pull out the pity card and say woe is me because you got called out on your bullshit.
Right. Yeah. You wanted to be cute and say shitty things, and you had to answer for it. Yeah. I think that's the way to handle someone like that is confront them with it as an adult, let's quit being.
So that video got to 2,200 views in very short order, and
nice. Yeah, I watched it. I watched your video of it. I watched the call too later, but because there was a clip of the call, but
oh good, I'm glad the line clipped it.
But what's up, Dave?
What's going on?
Oh, nothing.
I just wanted to stop by and show you my junk.
That is,
well, I mean, I'm
well,
glad
you had somebody earlier trying to do
that. That's what I was going to say. I'm glad when you came up on screen, we weren't rewarded with.
I save this picture just for these occasions. It happens now and then. It happens now and then.
Yeah. Well, we got to have some excitement every now and then.
My favorite was when it happened to Rebecca on Bread of Life. And when at
no.
first she didn't realize it because there was a whole bunch of us on the screen, so it was pretty small, you know. But when she realized it, she put her hands up over her camera like she was going to block it by blocking out her camera.
Well,
the power of the Holy Spirit commend.
It never happened, and you know, she was you know a little shocked, and her first response was just to reach out, cover up her camera. It was adorable for a unpleasant moment.
What's wrong with these bell ends? You know, I mean, bell ends showing their bell end off. I mean, for heaven's sake.
Yeah.
Well, I suspect because Tim Bob has showed up here and there and said weird things in the past, and I've never spoke about this because I didn't want to give any attention to it really, but I have a feeling I know who that is, and it's somebody from my personal side of my life that is trying to make things tough for me. So,
Jesus,
thanks for that, bitch. So whatever. Though I have to say it was a good one because it caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that at all. I was like, Tim Bob's going to come on stage and talk. Oh, well, let's add Tim Bob. Yeah.
Okay. Now I know why Tim Bob got banned because I thought it said somebody else's name.
It was somebody else but Tim Bob was the one that originally did it with that same video. So, Tim Bob had just went and logged in on other accounts, which I'm sure Tim Bob will do many more times.
Tim Bob was a frequent commenter on Maya's show, and he seemed like he was making edgy but not quite over the line comments in chat a lot. We didn't really know what to do with him. I think we finally banned him, but I can't remember.
Yeah, it's
I've been moderating too many goddamn channels, so I kind of said, Maya, you've got Titan and Answer, and you've got the people here. If you don't mind, I'm gonna take that thing off, which is that's good.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I forgot you're streaming too. But oh fuck, I forgot. I'm out of it today. This whole thing has been a train wreck from the beginning. I was late getting here and getting everything going, and then had all that stuff happened in the video and things, and
I timed myself pretty good. I was going by, without a clock, and I was like out there cleaning the pond filter and everything, and I'm like, I think I've been out here about an hour, and I came in and yep, 6 o'clock. So my internal clock did pretty good today, because I'll lose track of time. I'll be out back for a couple hours. I'll be like, dang, what happened?
But talking about people saying like things that are just edgy in the chat or whatever, that I see a lot of that, and it get to like a point to where it's like, okay, now it's no longer like a joke. You're just being an asshole now. And if I had to try and keep up with the chat on my own videos, I would never be able to speak, because I would only look at that. That's why I always do videos with somebody, because that way I'm talking to someone, because otherwise I won't be able to keep up with anything. It just throws me completely off I think I blame the drugs, honestly, but my attention span to do two things at once isn't very long. I can concentrate on one topic at a time, like Kent Hovind.
Well, some could be just pesty or whatever, but it is rare that ones actually do what this idiot did earlier. So at least At least that's something. I don't know
Yeah,
about other channels, but I've only seen it happen a couple times. So
usually people like that will figure out where the line is and then tiptoe up to it and then not cross it and just sort of sit there. And if they're smart, if they're not smart, then they wind up getting banned. Which is, it's kind of like the virus thing. A smart virus won't go ahead and kill the host unless it's
All right.
way
so
of passing
that's what
things
Behe's
along.
always whining about. Am I blocked on this channel? And it's like, why is it that you have to ask every time you're on a channel if you're blocked on that channel? Isn't that kind of a hint, about why you're getting blocked on all the channels?
Well, the other thing about that particular thing, and I see it all the time over when I'm monitoring chat on the line, is like somebody will type in the chat, "Am I blocked?" And it's like,
Yeah.
Well, no, because your chat is up. And
They just
probably
assume.
See it.
Yeah, they're assuming they're blocked. That's the thing.
And
I've
of
only
course,
blocked.
that's a great huge red flag. It's like, oh, this person thinks they're blocked. I'll watch their channel, watch what they're typing even a little closer than.
I've only blocked 2 people on my channel. Well, I had to block the guy that sent the Steven Anderson cult guy that sent me death threats in the comments. I had to delete that, but I only had to delete one other person, and that was Blessed Be He.
Really?
Yeah.
What did she do?
Well, it was she's
always pushing it too. It's like you were just saying.
She was asked to stop repeatedly on here. Like, gave her 3 or 4 tries to stop saying the shit about calling atheists Nazis and shit like that. And I just said, just stop. Like, you're just trying to stir up a fight. And she just kept doing it. So, yeah, that's the only person that's blocked. That West guy that came and the West guy that came and showed the picture and said, "I'm going to show you a picture that you've seen 10,000 times that you're going to see when you die," and things got a little kooky.
Wesley was here a little earlier. He came in the middle of my going on about how we've been arguing about religion for 10,000 years and hasn't gotten us anywhere yet. Don't see how it's going to get us anywhere in the near future. So why are we doing it still?
Yeah.
Hello, Blaster.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Blaster.
Afternoon. How are you guys?
Doing good.
I was like, I better give you a warning in the chat so you know it's me.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. Yeah. We would have known quickly if it wasn't.
Hey, I wasn't shy about showing my junk.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't compete with,
well,
so.
They used Michael N's name too, is what got me.
That's pretty.
Yeah, that's low.
That's pretty low. Yeah,
it is. They did a good job of tricking me though. I fell right for it. So,
if I turn the camera
that's what happened. The last time somebody did that, that's what they did. They used somebody's. They used Caterpilla's name. You see Cata around. Yeah, and so nobody would think Cata, because Cata's, kind of innocent and nice and everything, and without even thinking, they clicked on it. Yeah, and it was some idiot. So.
Yeah,
we
went for a ride there.
I know. Sorry.
No, you're
sorry.
fine.
I was trying to get the cat in the camera, but there she is.
El Gato.
So you brought up Corky a couple times in the chat. What I didn't see what Corky said, and
no, he's just talking shit about you in one of his videos. He's stupid.
Yeah.
I don't even like I'm pretty sure he has me perma blocked, right?
I think I am too. Well, no,
I've never seen a comment from you.
he keeps like changing the name and unblocking me and then blocking me again, and then he sends me messages on some random video, and it's almost gotten kind of like weird how he does it. But you know, the thing with Corky is I actually like Corky. I wish he would just, you know, find some fucking internet and come talk to me. But
well,
Corky,
I don't think he has the guts to really do that. Like he could get on Discord or something, right?
I don't know. I tried to get him to talk to me on any other platform, even just typing or whatever, and he
has a
just
phone,
really
right?
wasn't interested.
Yeah, see, he's not interested in actually having a conversation. That's what I'm talking about. It's like I don't think that he wants to actually engage honestly, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, Corky is a great source for video. Like if I wanted to just go find, you know, weird Christian videos and poke holes in them, Corky would be a perfect source for that. Because
I was just gonna sit there and like be like, man, I could just like spend like an hour just watching all his shorts and responding to him and be like, this is dumb, and then cut it up, you know?
Yeah.
Just be like, okay,
I get so
I've had
sick
videos
of
for
watching,
2 weeks, I guess.
I get so sick
really
of watching theists.
Yeah.
I have to take breaks from it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay when they come up with something new, or if it's like someone I've never engaged with. I like it when people are willing to engage. Like, he's not willing to engage, so he sucks. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, he's just going to end up being ignored because he doesn't actually engage. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking a little bit with some folks with a Missing Mod stream earlier. We were getting along. Even with some different ideas being thrown around. I try to be like I said, as long as it's civil, we can talk about anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody that wants to have
Bigfoot, religion,
an
politics is kind of a strange bedfellow because it's really hard not to get ugly when you start getting that. But
I think politics is free game now.
Some things
the Christians have made politics free game.
Well, I don't want to hear the arguments from either side. I already know them. What I want to hear is the solutions for the middle.
No shit.
If you don't have a solution for the middle, you can be on the far left, far right all day. That stuff's not going to get done. And it's just, for bumper stickers and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Pass some fucking laws of some sort.
Yeah, pass something. The word I don't like hearing is comprehensive. When you hear comprehensive, that means if they don't get everything they want, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Instead of pass a bill that's, halfway good, right? It can be improved another day. But like you said, you get all or nothing, and it's mostly nothing.
Like do your job and actually negotiate a fucking bill like that.
There's a lot of problems, but
well, there's an old Bill Clinton story where they were at a standstill, so he pulled them all into a room together, and he said, "We're going to stay here until we figure something out." And they managed to get her done, right? Because they wanted to go home.
Well, I think an example of that is what just happened in the House. It's just okay, and which is why Biden's been an effective president, because he grew up in that culture. He spent his entire career in that culture in the Senate, and had to forge those compromises with people who did not, or I don't even call them compromises, with finding the practical solution for the time. It's like you may be, your ideal may be here, but you need to move things along. And the problem with that, especially in this political climate and in the political climate of the 50s and 60s, was when you have one side that says segregation now, segregation tomorrow, segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever, and another side that's saying we got to stop this. We've got to end apartheid. We've got to end American apartheid. We've got to stop being an example to the world as to how to treat one entire class of citizens like shit and keep them separate. When there's a situation like that, when parties are taking stances where there is really no moral compromise, I mean, then you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you compromise, if I compromise with Michael Knowles, then I'm dead. Because there's no possible way to agree, or I can't think of any conceivable way that Michael Knowles would agree that elimination is not the end goal. So I don't want to be seeing the Overton window be pushed towards a point where I'm eliminated, or people like me are eliminated from public life, and that's the goal. So there are rooms to figure out. First of all, I think one of the things that's been destroyed in our public discourse is the ability to identify real problems. Is there truly a problem with this particular issue? Or is the issue being manipulated so as to provide partisan advantage towards that goal of elimination, or that goal of keeping immigrants out of the country, or that goal of this and that and the other thing? So when you have a situation where even the newspapers are presenting these issues as if the issues are even real, and they to begin with, and that each side has a valid point of view, then you have a poisoned discourse from the get-go.
I think.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, we had that troll earlier, and Captive Death is here with showing off his junk, so I figured I'd come here with another unsolicited dick pic.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah, like I say, it's in these different eras and stuff where they're having this meltdown and everything. In between, though, generally there was a sense of honor and duty to country, and yeah, you want to have all these things for your party and everything, but if you give a little bit, you're going to get a little bit, right? And nobody wants to have anything, and especially the way the MAGA party or crowd is, they just don't want to have anything passed at all while Biden's president. It doesn't matter if it's the cure for cancer; they're going to vote no because Biden's president. There's no forget the country.
They're going to do that with any Democrat.
Yeah, well, it's it's supposed to be, you got the orange thing hugging the flag and stuff, but it's like, well, act like it, have some duty and honor to country,
You know what?
That's also why these Democrats need to stop trying to play this. Is we're going to reach across the aisle and start with the half measure and work from there. No, we got to go 100% and work backwards from that.
Yeah.
It's the only way you're going to get anything done.
Well, like with politics, like I think MAGA is just a cult that and behaves like any other religion. But the other problem is that we have Democrats with progressive Democrats with good ideas who are wanting to do good things. But even when the Democrats take control of everything, they don't accomplish shit. Our government is just fundamentally broken to where the whole, instead of the point being that they're passing laws and legislating laws, it ends up being that they're doing everything they can to not do that. And just it's a 12-month, 24-hour a day, 7-day a week election cycle now, where they're always running for office again. They're always asking for donations and whatever. It's all about keeping power. And why have power if you have to do any work while you're there? And
they're not
both
even
sides
taking
are
care of
guilty
business.
of that.
And that's what's giving us lower vote turnouts.
They can't even take care of
Shorter
business.
term
I mean,
limits?
well, just they should have something that if you don't do anything, you don't get paid or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're just an
You don't get paid.
obstructionist,
I
like,
love it.
yeah. What do you call it? Merit or something, right?
Merit based.
Yeah, we got empty promises and promises to take us backwards. So which one do you think is going to end up happening?
Oh. Well, I think we can be a little too hard on people when you consider the legislative accomplishments that have happened, even in a situation where the Congress is divided in party control between the House and the Senate.
I don't think we're hard enough.
Funding Ukraine was a substantial accomplishment given the opposition from the mega righties that are in the pay of the Soviet. I'm in the pay of Russia, as far as I can tell. Putin writes a check to those guys all the time. The work that the administration did to at least salvage some of the student loan forgiveness.
No way. Important. No. They did not really do all that much work on that.
They made it harder than hell to get it. I know that.
It's not absolutely meaningless, especially not if this is the other thing. You need to keep in mind that the people that are affected by it are going to be benefited by it. People that aren't obviously aren't. So there's
they
that.
May be in the future.
But they may be in the future. So it's kind of that. What can we get? What is the problem? Is there a problem? For example, we have people who the latest bit on social media and in the media is the latest bit is the problem of furries in elementary schools.
Yeah.
There isn't a fucking problem of fucking furries in fucking elementary schools. There just isn't.
Yeah.
I heard they were biting
but there
people.
has
what
to
are you talking
be
about?
There has to be, in order to completely avoid discussion of real problems.
Right.
Yeah.
There isn't
Preach.
trans boys competing on boys teams is not a problem. Trans girls competing on girls teams is not a problem. Because there are very, very, you pass a bill, you spend legislative hours in state after state after state to talk about a problem that doesn't exist or affects maybe one person in the entire fucking state.
Yeah.
So
it's so stupid.
We need to be able to identify the problems that need working on that are real, and not make up ones that aren't.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that given the situation that Democrats have passed some great bills, but it's and it is mostly one side that is responsible for our government coming to a standstill, and
when it becomes difficult for people that do insist on bringing up problems that don't exist, simply because they grab you by the nads and cause people angst and anguish, when they either they're either ignorant about the issues around the topic being raised, or aren't smart enough to realize it's not a fucking problem.
Yeah.
We need to just not elect those people that bring up these stupid sideshows.
Well,
And
I mean,
and how many years now has it been to avoid a government shutdown?
this shit is
Right.
They have to pass the budget to get to not have the shutdown over and over and over. And it's like, isn't that part of your, part of the job is to make sure that's
Not really
taken care of?
elective to do.
They're not
It's
even
all
doing
a
that
show.
either, till the last minute.
It's all a show, and you can tell it's all a show because whenever they had the border bill that they wanted, Donald Trump said, "No, don't do that," and they didn't. They don't give a shit about passing things. They don't care about what it does for the American people or what people want or what their constituents even want. They could give a shit less about any of those things. It's all about remaining in power, and the way that they choose to remain in power is by trying to scare the shit out of people about things that aren't a problem to begin with. And it's a horrible thing to watch in action.
I'm not giving Biden that student loan debt thing. He started it off with a bunch of stipulations instead of going, we're just going to eliminate a student loan across the board, and we can work back from there. And maybe we don't get across the board, but we would get a lot more than if we started with a bunch of stipulations. So no, I'm not giving him that.
You know what they told me, Mage, about because I have student loans. They sent me a paper about Biden's thing. You know what they said? They said that if I had been paying on my student loans for the last 6 months and all of it was current and I wasn't behind on it, that then I could qualify for the loan forgiveness.
Right.
Now,
which is completely
So
silly.
because you couldn't afford it, you don't qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't afford to pay the fucking loans, or I wouldn't have that problem to begin with. Like, what are we doing here?
It's some catch 22. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
My older boy had the chance at a bunch of overtime and stuff, so he just took it and was paying down his bills and paid off his student loan and everything. And then they started talking about the forgiveness and stuff and everything, and he's like, that figures.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, somebody's always going to be in that situation. It's just
carry-in
okay.
isn't like 98% of our budget just defense spending and military. I think
that's not 98%, but it's pretty.
It's like
hefty.
it's like a quarter, a third, or something like that. It's a big chunk.
It's the biggest chunk though, right?
And how long?
It's one of the big ones, yeah.
And how long does Biden need to have to look into whether we can take marijuana off of Schedule 1? And he's been looking into this for how long now?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't even need to. You just sign an executive order. You're done. And sure, the next guy the next guy who comes in could reverse that. But how is that going to look for that guy?
Yeah, it's on them to do that though. That and I think you're right.
Leaving it up to states because it's easier to avoid it.
Yeah. This whole thing, it's up to the states.
No, that's not a good idea. We need to change it federally. Then the states can come in and do more with it.
Yeah. Well, then you could.
If it was up to the states, Utah would take over the country.
Because technically, even with these states where it's legal, well, at the federal level, they can still get you if they wanted to.
Oh yeah.
Just a point. The whole student loan thing is a part of a long con. The student secondary education, post secondary education in California. And in a lot of places with land-grant universities, the reason for land-grant universities in the first place was that the universities would be established to provide free post-secondary education to the citizens of the state, and they would subsidize the tuition by the income made off the land grant. That's why they're called land-grant universities. They're land-grant colleges. They're supposed to be doing that up until 1978, I believe.
Yeah.
Post-secondary education throughout the University of California system, one of the best in the world, was free for California residents. Free.
Right. As it should be.
It was free. You know why it changed? Because Ronald Reagan got elected governor.
Yep.
And the people
Wanted
that
to
were
make money.
most opposed to him happened to be at the University of California at Berkeley and the free speech movement and all of that. And he didn't like those people, so he hit him in the pocketbook.
As they do. Follow the money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a long con. It's like, oh well, there's no way we could possibly afford to do could possibly afford to provide our citizens with post-secondary education at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, except that we did it from 1870 until 1978. We did it. We actually fucking did it for over 100 years. And we've all been conned and convinced that never happened. That none of that ever happened.
I mean,
So-
what's the
garbage.
statistic about universal health care? It's like, oh, all the rest of the third world, like first world nations can figure it out except for America? Like, we're the one that can't figure it out?
And here's the neat thing: we could, during the pandemic, we could have actually essentially gotten in universal health care, or to an extent at least.
Yeah.
We
And
could've.
once we got a taste of that, it would have been a lot harder for them to pull that back too.
Oh, they'll never be able to take it once they do it. That'll be well, they might, but it'll be years down the road whenever everybody's dependent on it.
No, never. It'll never happen.
They,
If
yeah,
they
they
gave
might,
it,
but
I mean, if anything's gonna happen, we'll get it someday, hopefully. You know,
Eventually, it has to go that direction.
I would think
Capitalism
that-
isn't sustainable, first of all, at all anyway. So it's
then again, they're trying to reverse it in Europe right now. So
I mean, Obama ran on the healthcare system, right? And he tried to reform it.
no, he did some good things. He did some bad things.
He
too,
did
but
some
he
good
did-
he
things.
gave us
he
a
did-
right. He gave us a right wing system.
Yeah,
9 million
exactly.
9 million
I
people
agree,
that didn't
Mage.
have health care now do because of that. So that's a good
He-
thing.
He gave us a libertarian option. That's what we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was essentially it was Romney Care. It was the
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was the care. It was
Yeah.
the thing that was passed in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. God
Yeah,
save the
it
Commonwealth
was.
of Massachusetts. But yeah, and it was again. Still, the problem was identified. This is a problem. I wouldn't want to go back to the United States without the Affordable Care Act.
Right?
I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
go back to that system because then, I wouldn't have health. Well, I would now, but at the time when I was
You
under
would've been in
retirement
trouble.
age,
I wouldn't.
I would have
if
been
my
I would have
kid
been
did.
absolutely screwed.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, I was absolutely screwed for a good period of time.
And Obama did say it was to be expanded on it and grow and everything. It wasn't an end all. You know what I mean? It was supposed to be a beginning. So
Yeah.
But the problem was identified, and what is the art of the possible came into play. What can we get through Congress?
Yeah.
Given the fact that that you're going to get the same kind of pushback that Bill Clinton got, 12 years earlier with trying to pass a better plan that was demonized as Hillary Care, and they tried to do the same thing with the Affordable Care Act. They called it Obamacare, and it's still the whole thing. And what are they still saying? They're saying we're gonna get rid of Obamacare and replace it with something better. And if you believe that, then I have a non-existent bridge across the Portland Ship Channel to sell you.
Yeah, but when you ask it, when you try to impress them, for what would they replace it with? It's
They have nothing. Yeah. Exactly.
Why don't they just give up one issue? Like Republicans
Same
could
with the
totally
border.
just win the election. They could say we're going to give free health care to everyone, and I know they would never do that. But I'm saying
They wouldn't.
they could win the election. They think they're going to win the election anyway.
If they wanted to win the election, they would have to run on something like that. But I think I mean, if you look at what like you were
Instead-
saying, like some of that school loan debt release that happened, like that affected a lot of people.
Well, I mean, instead of choosing something like that, they chose voter suppression for minorities. They chose some of the awful things that they've done to keep minorities and stuff from voting. And
yeah.
Honestly, I think Republicans would actually do a better job if they actually own the Affordable Care Act. That says, "Hey, that was our idea. Obama stole it from us."
yeah.
Well,
So,
dude, Joe,
so thank you. You can thank us
there
for that.
are conservative Christian Republicans that want to ban women from voting. That's a thing now, right?
Oh, no doubt. It's I've been in plenty of churches where women aren't even allowed to speak.
Yeah.
It's yeah, there's definitely a group of them that are like that.
I think they're like a loud minority, but there's an outspoken group of people like that, and they have like younger men too on their side. Like there's like all this kind of Andrew Tate kind of misogynistic kind of vibe running through all.
Yeah,
it's awful.
Yeah,
that's his name. I couldn't think of his last name earlier. It's Andrew something. I can't think.
I got you, homie.
Andrew Tate. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's like the Pied Piper of incels.
Whenever I hear,
my brain didn't even want to remember his name fully. So that's how much my brain's like. F that guy.
Whenever I hear the name Tate, I just think testicles.
I just think that he was outed by the Greta or whatever because he was ordering pizza. Remember he was like tweeting about the pizza box or whatever.
He had a true pizza gate.
Some pizza gate bullshit.
It
was between
there is some question of whether that's actually how they found him or not.
But it was ironic that happened right as soon as when he was getting busted because it did people figured it out where he was at online.
He's up to something.
Because they saw the pizza boxes and they knew his address because of that, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, they actually did know already ahead of time. It's just they happened to think that it was from the QR code in the box.
Yeah.
They already knew. They were already busting him at the time, so.
Yeah. It was sweet. It was good timing, though.
Yeah, it was good timing.
Well, it's like Hitchens said, whenever the big mouths are running, just set your watch, right?
Yeah.
Set
true,
your watch.
Man. It's true, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people said that about Hitchens too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Oh, speaking of the new atheism, one of the greats passed away. My favorite of the Four Horsemen passed away just a couple of days ago. Daniel Dan.
Yeah, Dan. Hear about that. He was great.
I'm reading one of his books, and I was like, oh man.
He was a source in a few more than one of my videos that I pulled things from. Some of his views on morality and stuff.
I was telling Speed, I was like, a lot of these philosophers, they start talking and stuff, and I'm lost. But I'm reading Dennett's book, and I can actually kind of understand what he's saying. You know what I mean? He comes across where you can understand it. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
He was a nice one out of the four.
When you think of those guys, and you think
nicely,
where they went, Dennett never went off the deep end.
No, he's
unlike
articulate.
Dawkins, unlike
right.
Lawrence Krauss, unlike
Dennett would insult you, but you didn't realize it because you didn't know all the words he was. You didn't know all the words Dennett was using to insult you.
He'd insult you like a Canadian.
Do you think the fame just
with a
went
smile,
to their head, Stephanie?
Pardon?
Do you think it was partially just the fame went to their head? That's why they all went off the deep end?
To a certain extent. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think more than the fame, the getting to a certain level where they thought they were beyond criticism, and the development of social media venues like Twitter, or places where ordinary people could call out their bullshit when they spouted bullshit, or call out their missteps when they misstep.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you, you little pipsqueak, criticize me? You're canceling me. This is one of the weirdest psychological tricks ever.
Yeah.
For someone with that kind of a platform and that kind of power and that kind of, money, to sit and say they're being canceled because someone criticizes
You know who comes
a
to
position
mind?
that they've
And I
taken.
know
It's just crazy.
You know who comes to mind, and I know he doesn't claim it, but Pine Creek.
I wouldn't put Pine
Doug
Creek
comes-
on the level of any of those guys.
Do you like, he's kind of like that though. Like he feeds off of like that kind of energy. You know what I mean?
I guess. I mean,
Like
He was in Jim Bob's chat
Doug says
earlier.
Doug says he does what he does for fun. I think he enjoys being
Yeah.
provocative.
Yeah.
I don't think that Doug is fundamentally a particularly deep thinker.
Yeah. He's
But
just a
he
farm
but
boy.
he plays one on TV, and and he's got a lot of people got a lot of people down with that. But if you really have a conversation with it, it's not. It's this weird perversion of the techniques of street epistemology that drive you crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, it can be abused for sure. Like those Socratic method can be abused.
Well,
Jay says, I think they're right about Doug. Expound on that there, Jay.
Tell us what you really think, Jay.
Jay understood what I was going with.
I don't know. I think I don't need to have more conversations with Doug.
Well, I just think about like
As the last
I mean,
time, one of the last encounters was just the funniest one ever, and this is when I just said, okay, this guy's not serious anymore. He brought up a study, he challenged me live on stream. Provide me a study. I think the metric for determining whether gender affirming care is valuable would be suicide rates and suicide statistics, not ideation, but actual suicides. And he said, I challenge you, find a study that shows that gender affirming care is remedial in that regard. And I said, well, I don't have one off that. I know I've seen some studies. I don't have one off the top of my head, but give me a moment. And tap, 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 tap. Oh, here's one. So I pull the thing up, read the thing, glance over the thing, look at the conclusions. Yeah, okay, here's one, Doug. And of course, these studies are very, very hard to come by because it's a very small population. It's very, it's hard to do a study like that, but there have been studies that were done.
Yeah.
And so I pull this thing up, and we're going back and forth, and he's going, and he all of a sudden had a big smile on his face and said, "Oh, we were talking about that study about an hour ago. Were you here an hour ago?" I said, "No, I wasn't. Otherwise," and I said, "Oh, well, then you went over the conclusions." And he a big smile on his face. Go read the conclusions, and I read the conclusions, and it said that suicidality was reduced for this population that were studied. And he had told his audience an hour before that the conclusion that the study reached was the exact opposite of that.
So he just lied to you?
And I said, and the exchanges, I've got it on tape. I've got it, I obviously got the VOD. It's on my channel somewhere. I think it's on a stream called "Sitting by the Dog of a Bay, Wasting Time," because I felt like the time was completely wasted. Why did I spend? Why? It doesn't fucking matter. show me a study. Okay, here's a study. Well, read the conclusion. Okay, here's the conclusion. Yeah, but the conclusion doesn't say what the conclusion says.
I've run into that before on Twitter.
I don't know what to do with that, mate. I do not know what to do with that, mate. But when we got to that point, he said, "Oh yeah, so okay, yeah, it says suicides were reduced in the population that received gender affirming care of one sort or another." And it's yeah, it's getting late. I haven't had dinner and I have a tea time, so I'll see you later.
Yeah. I gotta go play golf. Sorry.
Once they say the conclusion doesn't say what the conclusion says, is I don't really know what to do with that either.
No, I remember.
Yeah, he's an atheist who claims allegiance to
conversation.
science, but it is really just an anti-woke right winger like the new atheists without Dennett.
Yes, that was what I was thinking. That's why I was kind of saying he just kind of joined the like club basically,
The first live stream I seen of you, Stephanie, was you talking to Doug and then Jimmy trying to cool you off afterwards. Yeah,
I can only Jimmy Snow or something.
Jimmy Tux.
Jimmy Tux.
Tux.
Yeah, Jimmy Tux. Okay, nice. Yeah. Like
Tux is trying to convince me. He was trying to convince me. No, all you got to do is be reasonable with Douglas. No,
there's no reasoning with him. I tried to. No, I was like, dude, you remind me of like my cousin when we were walking down the street in Korea. He was enlisted in the military, and I just happened to run into him while he was stationed in Korea. I was there, and I hooked up with him on the side. And we were walking, dude, by this like Middle Eastern dude, and he's like, "Didn't I kill your cousin?" I'm like, I had to stop him on the street. I was like, "Hey, man, we're pedestrians. You cannot say that sort of thing to people here. Or are you trying to antagonize the guy? Like, what are you doing? Like, my wife's an educator here. I'm, like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell? What's the point of this? And but I was like, Doug, that's the kind of person you remind me of, because you will just blurt things out just to offend some. Not because you have a point, just because you get off on offending people, which is call a shock jock.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of that on Twitter. Twitter is like that.
There is.
It's provocative post after provocative post, and just trying to rile up a fight with somebody over something lame.
This is why I've never had a Twitter account, because of this bullshit.
Yeah. The anytime that any theist that I'm talking to gives me a source for something, I'm immediately going and pulling that source, because from my experience, 100% of the time it does not say what the fuck they think it says. And Standing for Truth is guilty for doing that.
They're all guilty of it.
Yeah. Every person.
Standing for Truth is a Kent Hovind wannabe. Like, come on, what do you expect from him?
I call him Sitting for Lies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was a teenager or like a kid in the 90s, Kent Hovind came to my church when I was in the 90s. Like he was
Donnie wants that crowd when Kent retires. That's what he's doing.
Dude, my dad.
He's biding his time, and he knows, Kent's, not a spring chicken, and Donnie's still a younger guy, so he's got, how many decades of that audience that he wants.
Is to be like Kent Hovind.
Yeah, and he grew up as like he's a used car salesman.
He wants the audience. Yeah, he wants the audience more than anything else. If he has to replay Hovind's videos to do it, he wants the audience that are putting super chats and everything in. That's what he wants.
He better learn how to cluck like a chicken then.
I remember a good story though about when Kent was visiting. Was my dad was the dentist for the church, right? And his dentist office was right on the same block. he was like, no, Eric came in and he was a little shithead the entire time while my dad was trying to do dentistry. He wouldn't sit still. He was like like 12 or something, and he wouldn't sit still for my dad while he's trying to do dentistry on it. He's like one of the worst kids I've ever worked. So that tells you anything about the Hobbits. There you go. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, I guess.
Well, Donnie's was strange because his hero is Nathaniel Jeanson, who works for Ken Ham. Yet he's always got Kent Hovind on, sucking up to Kent Hovind. And Kent Hovind and Ken Ham, if you notice,
they hate each other.
They don't really mention each other's names, do they? I mean, he might say something about the Ark or something, but
they
and
used
that's
to get
it.
along. They
Yeah,
used to get along. They had a falling out, I think, and it was in like it was when Kent went to prison.
Well, I can't say it's Hovind in this case because if you notice, Ken Ham first started like with ICR and then had a falling out. He had a falling out with the folks in Australia, and that's why he originally came here. So I think Ham is maybe a common denominator, and he can't get along with other people.
Ken Ham used to frequent the church I went to as well.
Your story, though, Blaster Master,
mm-hmm.
is similar to the story Kent Hovind tells on stage.
About his son?
About spanking a kid at the dentist because they wouldn't sit still.
That was at my dad's office.
That's the story he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So it's a true story?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I figured he just made that up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Maybe he made that up.
No,
no,
it was real story.
Hovind's proud of the fact that he beat the crap out of his kid.
Well, I think that actually that story happened prior. I don't think the beating happened in my dad's office, but his son was a real pain in the ass at the dental office. My dad was known for being like the gentle, like family dentist, right? All the kids loved him. He'd do like little voice, like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck voices and shit. So they'd be entertained. He, no pain. You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
That
they would enjoy it rather than.
That Vody Buckman, however he says his last name, that he preaches over with Ken Ham and that, and I was covering him. Yeah. He is one of the ones that you're supposed to use corporal punishment on toddlers every time they squawk or anything else. And
he's a real piece of shit.
Well, I guess we can add child abuse to Hovind.
Oh yeah, it's there. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. He's
well, those old schoolers are like that. They are. There's that guy that doing the videos where he's instructing the whole church on how you properly use the rod and everything, and he's got a what do you call it? A dummy up there, bent over, showing how you apply the rod and everything. And
show you how to apply the rod.
Yeah, that's, you go to church services and you're getting a lesson in corporal punishment. It's like really weird.
Bro, you're bringing up my childhood trauma, man, because like when I was 8, I remember my parents stopped or 7 or 8, somewhere around there, around 6, 7, 8, when my parents stopped spanking me or whatever, right? Because I just was starting to be too old for that shit, right? Wasn't working. But then when I was 12, 13, when my parents started going to the same church where they had the guy that wrote that book come into the church, my parents started beating my ass, at fucking 12 or 13 years old. And you're like, it's a little late for this shit, what are you doing?
My parents didn't spank me, but I was over at a sleepover, and the mother of the kid who was doing the sleepover said, if you guys act up, we're going to spank you. And turns to me and even you, because she knew that my parents didn't spank. And when she said that, I was fine, but I hit back.
Yeah, that's what started happening with me, too.
I got my ass beat
hey, you put me in martial arts.
We got chores.
What'd you say, Joe?
I said I got my ass beat with a belt every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was common.
Every day?
Just about.
We got chores to be
he was a bad boy.
My dad would say, you screwed up or whatever. That garden needs weeding. cut the grass,
Right.
rake the grass, on and on and on. And I had a buddy, his mom would give him a couple swats, and he was right back outside playing again. So, kind of in a way, you know what I mean? It's like he just got to the point where, okay, go ahead, Ma. And he'd take a couple swats, and he'd be back outside. We were grounded, doing chores. So in a way, that sucked a lot more being a kid.
By the time I was 11 or 12, they knew that spanking me I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
So that's when they started grounding me and saying I couldn't go out the
Take
yard.
your Nintendo away.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah.
And for us, it was, especially if it was beautiful outside and I was in a neighborhood full of kids and you could hear them all playing, you know what I mean? And
you have to stay inside.
You're pulling weeds, right? So
yeah.
My mom married this other dude when I was in high school, and he was my stepdad. And I was like 17 or something, almost 17.
My mom hooked up with a guy around that age too.
And I said something crazy to my stepsister at the time, told her to shut the hell up or something. And this dude my mom married came back there and said he was going to bust my ass. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, I'm bigger than you.
You're like, you want to try?
Yeah. Are we going to take turns or what? But yeah, that was the weirdest thing with that. But
you're like, who's gonna break it up when I'm like pounding your face in, dude?
Yeah.
I got lippy. I got lippy as a teenager once, and my dad was saying something to my mom about, what am I gonna do? He's bigger than I am, because I was into working out, so I was kind of buff, and he's basically like, what am I gonna do? My kid's bigger than me now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of the discussion of what am I supposed to do? Beat his ass, you know what I mean? Because they were trying to figure out I don't know what I did. Something stupid, probably.
I had a girlfriend, and her dad had like a rock climbing thing that he did for kids. He taught kids how to rock climb, and I joined that shit. I got buff. I was like, hey, Dad, you want to arm wrestle like we used to? Because he'd always hold me. He'd be like, go ahead and go. And I did it to him. I was like, go.
I had to burn off all that testosterone when it hit. I just, it was like,
He knew at that point. He was like, oh shit. His eyes got all wide. He was like, damn.
I didn't play any like team sports or anything like that or anything.
I was just climbing, rock climbing, and belaying.
It was hitting the weights,
pulling on ropes all day. That's what I was doing, pulling on ropes. That'll make you strong.
Well, and I had a buddy that was into it too. He was one of my oldest and best friends.
Weightlifting is good for you, yeah.
Like I say, you got all that testosterone, and you just, you know what I mean? And you just like you just want to go out and pick a fight or whatever, you know what I mean? You got to have a way to burn it off. And we would hit the weights and we would burn it off.
I never wanted to fight people because I think
not actually, it doesn't actually have to be, but you know what I mean?
I know you
just get that
have like energy.
That primal thing going when you're so raging with all that dang testosterone when you're
had
puberty and
too
everything.
Much as a teenager. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because when I was 13, I was getting hauled off to an endocrinologist to figure out how come I didn't have any of that goddamn testosterone.
Yeah. Well, that was how we found out my son was low, because I was like, he should have that little mustachy thing coming out on his lip. You know what I mean? He's not getting that little, cheesy teenager mustache, And that's when we first figured out, he needed a little help. And I was just talking with my buddy last night. I think after his first injection, it was like Miracle Grow. He just bushed out everywhere.
Took off.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out for the best.
You see,
stuff anyway.
My reaction to that news was good and no.
I didn't mind that stuff anyway.
You're like,
No, I didn't.
that's the
No,
way
I
I
was
wanted
scared
it.
shitless of it. No, it was just no. You're not doing that.
I didn't have armpit hair or
Do
facial hair.
children know? Yes, they fucking well do. It's like they goddamn well do. And should children have a choice? Yes, they fucking should. They fucking well should.
Yeah.
And I refuse consent to any of that kind of intervention because it wasn't me.
You know, when I in like the 80s, when I was a little kid, like they just kind of let kids be themselves. I don't know why people are so
what the
concerned
fuck
with this
happened to
shit
that?
nowadays. I don't know. I have no fucking clue, Joe. That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, man.
Well, my kids
what the
my
fuck
kids
happened?
got autoimmune problems, so that's where a lot of his issues come from. So
Sure.
yeah,
That's different. I mean, yeah, but I mean, but we're talking
that was
about
just
like,
a side effect of
just let kids be themselves, though. Like, when has it been like the issue that we need to step in and start regulating how? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to raise your kids. You're not supposed to be making clones or whatever.
Right.
You see,
They're like
this is the issue. Like your son is your son. Never told you anything otherwise. And so the therapy was appropriate, and the physicians knew the therapy was appropriate, and you knew the
Right.
therapy was appropriate, and the kid knew the therapy was appropriate.
Mine are pretty open about, where they are sexually and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I always try to be open with them and everything.
So in the case of a child who's not typical, it does happen, and they do know. And ask me how I know. I mean, it's just it's not. And so you either listen or you refuse to listen. And at the end of the day, you wind up having, creating more problems than you might otherwise have had.
Well, I was kind of upset with the endocrinologist because I was like, he'd been going there for a long time. And it's like, why didn't he notice that he wasn't getting a hair on his lip? You know what I mean? It's like,
why didn't he know he didn't get gross sideburns?
Yeah, you have
like,
younger, you got a younger kid coming to you that has, his immune issues and everything. And one of the things they're always checking is hormone levels and everything.
Maybe
and stuff.
He thought he
and
was
you didn't
shaving?
notice
I
that.
don't know.
Yeah, you didn't notice that he wasn't, getting. Because I noticed, and I was like, so I was kind of disappointed in the doctor, and he kind of admitted that he did drop the ball. He should have noticed that.
So check this out. I didn't get facial hair or really much body hair at all until I was like 30 years old. And I played football in high school and stuff. And it was kind of weird for me, like, because the other guys had armpit hair and chest hair and all that stuff. And some of them had beards and shit. And I didn't, my face, I barely had peach fuzz on my face. And so it is a weird thing being like it's. Dude, I noticed
I wasn't able to grow a beard until I was 40. So
yeah, I'm not calling it. Yeah, me neither. I've never had a lot of. I've got it on my chin mostly now, but yeah, but I mean, almost every teenage boy has got fur on his lip. It's you're gonna have it, but it's pretty. I'm just saying, and okay, you could have exceptions, but when you're dealing with young people with these issues, I mean, you should kind of know, what I mean? You should notice that. Yeah, that's what I was, saying.
Yeah.
That the doctor didn't notice that he wasn't sprouting, right?
Yeah. I was real awkward.
I was good to have a second opinion, right?
I was real awkward about my body growing up as a kid. Like, I always wore baggy clothes and just tried to hide as much of me as possible. I would wear like flannel shirts and stuff all year round. But
his voice dropped, and his voice dropped
yeah.
and everything. You know, as soon as he took a shot or two, he got hairy. His voice dropped. Everything started kicking in. You know.
You're
Yeah,
like, all
well,
right, there he
that
is.
makes sense.
He's-
I wish somebody would have recommended that to me as a kid. I don't think it would have worked though, because I think it has more to do with
Oh, I can guarantee
Irish
you it would
heritage.
work.
They're
would've
very
worked.
serious. They're very serious
Yeah.
about it. They won't hand out testosterone just to anybody. He had to go through a whole
It's
bunch
a-
of things
it's a
before he
controlled
was
substance.
approved. Yeah.
I used to buy it off the dark web and sell it.
Well, you know,
Of
It
course
is a
you
controlled
would.
substance. It's you know the whole steroid thing. I mean, hell, like,
But
that's like when you see all these commercials for these powders and everything that are going to restore your testosterone. That's baloney because, like you said, Stephanie, it's controlled. You got to have all the right paperwork and everything, or you're not going to get the prescriptions.
Stephanie,
Yeah.
did you play the sound effect?
that was me.
That's
Okay,
that's
that was
Joe.
pretty good. I like this sound effect.
Yeah. Yeah, that was me. But
Joe, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'll be 42 in July.
Okay. Yeah, I just turned 44. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you're my brother's age. My little brother's, or you're, I mean, no, not my little brother, but plenty
I'm
of friends your
44.
age.
Interesting.
Well,
Cool. See? What all this? Dave, how old are you? You're like 50?
Be 58
58?
almost.
Holy shit, Dave, you're like... Okay.
Jesus, Dave.
All
How'd you
right,
get so
Grandpa.
fucking old.
Hey,
Exactly.
Missing Mod said the other day, said, "Wow, you don't look that old." And I was like, "Oh, thanks.
No,
I
you
love
look good for 58. Damn.
Appreciate
But
it."
like, yeah, you're... All right.
Okay.
Cheers, buddy.
okay.
Yeah.
They're
No,
planning the
I'm not going to ask you, Stephanie. I'm not even going to go there. I don't
They're
know.
planning
Tell
our-
us how old you are.
Definitely as
planning
old
our-
as my mom.
They're planning our 40th
No,
high
Stephanie's
school
not.
reunion this summer. So,
You're
My
more
mom
than
was
welcome
born
to
in
join.
1952, so I hope she's...
I am 1 year younger than your mom.
Oh, damn. Well, I could have probably guessed that you were my mom's age.
Yeah.
All right.
my wife just lost one of her aunts, and she made it to 94. So good for her.
Yeah.
That's
Yay.
that's a long life. That's a long
I
life.
was
Well,
on
and for a long time
vacation.
she was fairly healthy or whatever too. You know what I mean?
Well, I wasn't
So-
on vacation. I went to a funeral like a couple of months ago, and I had to go through Montana, and I stayed at my buddy's place, and he lives in like a small town in the middle of nowhere in Montana, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and we're down at the local bar, and I had like there was like an older woman. It's like probably she's in her 50s, lower 50s, but she was like coming on to me hard, and I was like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm married," that sort of thing. But she's like, "I don't care," and I was like, "Well, my wife might, and I kind of care," It was flattering, but I was like, I guess I still got it, even though I'm fucking 44 years old.
Yeah, but at that point, you want it.
No.
I literally
She
just
did.
came in here to be the youngest person on the panel. That's the only
There you
reason
go.
I'm here.
There you
Hey,
go.
I'm the baby. I'm so
That's-
sick of being the old woman on every goddamn panel I'm on. So thank you,
Welcome.
old people, for inviting me to your old people stream where I can be the baby.
glad we could help.
Oh,
I'm gonna have
How
a
you doing,
midlife
Bree?
process right here. This is an old people stream now.
I'm literally just like probably months younger than the next oldest person in here. I just saying, I'm
Okay. All
I'm
right.
about to be 41, so yeah, like I'm within like 48 months of the next youngest person.
I was gonna say you're not a spring chicken anymore.
No, hell no.
Yeah.
Pass
Apparently
that
my
stage.
boy,
You're like,
This
I've
apparently
made
my
it
boy
this way.
Chuck is calling into the line again, which is awesome.
Right now?
Apparently, yeah. Oh, it's in the queue. I'm looking at the backstage.
Oh, you have the cue to the line. That's awesome.
Sorry.
I'm a call screener and mod and
All right.
sometime guest on Takis. So yeah. Chuck.
Shush. 15 minutes, puppy. It's not dinner time yet. Dog's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, no, you got 15 minutes.
I mean, you could say I'm no spring chicken, right? But the other day on Twitter, I got called a Gen Z. I was like stoked. It was someone trying to insult me, saying I was too young to understand anything. But it's like, fuck you, I'm a kid. I'd go back to being that age again. There's a lot of shit I could fix if I could go back to being that age again. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
I think it was Michael Bell that was. Was Michael said some because I knew a Moody Blues lyric. Said some this and that, and I was like, I was a child of the 70s.
Now you're really aging yourself. Moody Blues and shit, man.
I think,
dude, I saw the Moody Blues once with my aunt and like there were all these like burnout hippies like smoking weed
sense.
and like frying on acid, and there were
They
these
come to
hippies
town
in
a
front of
lot.
me.
I just
And
never
the wife
I've never
was
seen
like,
him.
She was like, I have to apologize for my husband. He took too much acid. I'm sorry. And he's just like,
I've been
Too much.
to a bunch of concerts.
yeah, I
but-
know, Stephanie. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
so that was back when Speed was married. Then.
It's funny.
I've
though.
seen- I've
been
seen
to
the Moody Blues.
concerts. Yeah,
I live on
see?
the Mississippi. They come
There you
up.
go.
And, yeah, all these
Hell
these
yeah, dude.
blues bands come up and down the river.
Ah,
I think this
I
is
love,
probably
I love like New Orleans jazz. Like that's probably like some of my favorite kind of music. Or like New Orleans funk, like that shit, that funk that comes out of New Orleans. Give me that funk.
yeah.
I love that shit. I could just like when I drive around, when I'm ever in the car, I just put on the funk. I'm like, yeah, you need the soul music.
I've been listening to ska music lately.
There, see, that's similar.
Yeah, it's kind of uplifting. I need stuff to.
I'm
be
a
upbeat for me.
Northwest boy, you know. Like I grew up around ska. We had ska
Yeah.
bands coming through town. What's your favorite ska band?
Like from my favorite ska bands are from the '90s, but like I don't know, the Mighty Mighty Bosstones or.
Oh yeah, I've seen them in concert.
Yeah, they were probably my favorite.
'90s. In '97, I think I saw them.
Their horn section is lit, so
Oh
I mean,
yeah, dude.
that's
I'm
my
friends
main
with some
thing.
of them.
Though.
Yeah, I'm friends with
Yeah.
some of the saxophone players.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I always made friends with all the bands, the local bands that came through the town where I lived in. And like the Bosstones, yeah, they were good people.
Mhm. Yeah, but I mean that's and I try and I sound like cliche saying that, but yeah, it was either say that or a Real Big Fish or something like that.
Yeah, Real Big Fish is dope too. Those guys are cool as fuck. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm friends with them too. Yeah. Word.
Yeah. But there's
dude,
some good stuff.
when you
Now I do feel old because I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
ska
Oh,
music from
How about
the
here?
2000s.
I'll say a band name and you'll know exactly what we're talking about. Do you know who
90s.
Sublime is?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, that type of music. It's just
Okay.
it's a whole genre.
yeah.
Just Sublime became because he died and whatnot. But
Does
I think
Dave Matthews
Sublime-
fit into that?
does what?
Dave
Dave
Matthews,
Matthews?
is he that
No.
type of music?
Dave Matthews is
No.
a jam band.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was just seeing where the
They did tour. I think that Dave Matthews did tour with some different ska bands in the '90s.
Yeah,
though.
they
Yeah,
definitely
they did. Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
See, like '90s
Yeah.
music I was into was like Nirvana and
Hell yeah. Pearl Jam.
all kind. Dr. Dre,
Still
Chronic
in
T.
the Nirvana.
Dr.
So-
Dre.
That's a good way to think of ska music. Think of it as like Caribbean reggae meets like California alt rock.
That's pretty
ska
much
music.
it. Yeah.
And then add some
Yeah.
horns.
Yeah.
Well, I used to be
Like-
a big fan of Sublime, so I kind of know what you're.
yeah, Sublime's the
Yeah.
shit, dude.
Sublime rocks.
I
Yeah,
I'm still a big fan of Sublime. What did you still?
Well,
Sublime with Rome.
I guess I still am. I just haven't listened to it in a long time.
It's like good.
They still
driving
tour.
music, you know.
They still tour
They do.
and smoke 2 joints in the morning and smoke 2 joints at night.
Oh, when I
Smoke
sit
2
down to like
joints in the
listen to
afternoon
music,
makes
I
you
listen to
feel
like
alright.
the Beatles and stuff like that now. But
Yeah.
and that's even
They
like
were a good band.
way before my time, you know. But
They were. I remember when they did the Ed Sullivan Show, and it was
Yeah.
like I didn't like. I was more into classical music and American show tunes and that sort of thing. And the
I feel
Beatles
like-
hit the Ed Sullivan Show, and I was screaming, "My God, these people are wonderful!"
yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing about ska is it doesn't really. It kind of it fuses with different genres. 'Cause, like you think of like a
does.
band like No Doubt. That's ska fused with like 90s 90s pop, right?
Yeah.
It's and it just and then the Boston's, right? They almost have like a swing
Mhm.
style to
Another good
them.
one. Yep.
Yeah. So and then the Sublime is almost grunge. So it's really
yeah,
it's a
Mosquitones.
fusion. Yeah.
Sublime is really close to grunge. Really, really close.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
It is. I would say that Sublime is probably almost in its own class altogether. You know what I mean? It's hard to like they kind of like, I don't know. I like Sublime. Maybe I'm just
Sure.
biased, but
They're
I feel like they
sublime.
set a bar. They set a
Well,
bar that it's hard to meet for a lot of bands. You know what I mean? It's like Nirvana.
sure.
Nirvana set the bar, you know?
Yeah.
And Ozzy.
Ozzy did Black Sabbath
Hendrix.
did set a bar. Actually, it wasn't Ozzy.
Oh, yeah.
Ozzy was just there, but it was
Yeah,
more Tony because of that little
was-
metal finger
Or
It
that
was
Hendrix.
changed the way they played. Yeah.
Or Pink Floyd.
Ozzy,
That's how I got
Ozzy's
into the Beatles.
Ozzy's the king of metal for me, or Black Sabbath, and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sabbath.
They set a whole
Which-
tone.
What's your favorite Sabbath song?
Oh,
Oh man, that's
War
off the top of my head, it would be War Pigs. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Wizard.
But
I-
Come
I
on,
like-
the Wizard's awesome.
I was just gonna say that I like the Wizard. I like Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
Fairies wear boots.
Fairies wear boots, and you gotta believe me. I saw it with my own two eyes. I played all that. That's all I listened to for a while was just Sabbath albums. I had them all at one point. So,
Yeah.
and then of course, Heaven and Hell with Ronnie James Dio is one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all time, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, Dio is like if you had to pick somebody to sing like to represent like heavy metal music just in general, I'd pick Dio. If I had to pick a vocalist, just like so somebody wants to know what heavy metal vocals sound like, I would pick Dio.
Heaven and Hell's got the great lyrics. It's got everything a great rock song has. It's got a good build up, and then it gets quiet, and then it's got another good build up and the big strong
turnaround.
finish. Yeah,
It's
it's
rock
got
opera,
everything and
right?
a great voice with the classic band playing behind him. It's just I think Heaven and Hell is one of the greatest songs ever.
And say that was when Ozzy was doing when Heaven and Hell. Because Heaven and Hell is Black Sabbath with Dio, basically, right?
Right.
And then
Yeah.
Ozzy had Ozzy Osbourne at that time, which his guitar player was Randy Rhoads, who Crazy Train Randy Rhoads, so
Randy
an amazing
Rhoads,
guitar player. Yeah.
Flash in the pan, flash in the pan.
Mhm. They always
It
thought
was-
like Cliff Burton, the original bass player from Metallica, freaking amazing, wrote Pulling Teeth and all that. It just like bass lines you'd never considered a bass line sounding like that before, right? And then Flash in the Pan, he's gone.
And then, of course, I'm an Iron Maiden fan because, lead guitar, Dave Murray. So, right? I mean, how can I not be a fan, right?
Which generation? Obviously, I'm assuming you're like more of like a Bruce Dickinson era fan, but yeah.
Yeah. Iron
Me too.
Maiden was the loudest concert I ever heard. It was at the threshold of
I've
pain.
heard that before.
Yep.
I've heard people say that about Iron Maiden. It's just the loudest concert they've ever heard.
And even when they come into town, a lot of them wouldn't bring their big shows because we have a smaller venue in town, but they still had a great stage show, killer light show, lasers, and it was just one of the best shows I ever went to was Iron Maiden.
Best
Cool.
show the best show I've ever went to would have been probably Slipknot. They put on a good show.
Dude, Slipknot is such a good show.
They have a lot of theatrics. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Theatrics,
Okay.
light work,
I could see it.
pyrotechnics.
Yeah, I could see it.
And just
Tool
for
was really
jamming,
good.
I would give it to George Thorogood because when he came to town, ticket sales were down. So Johnny Winter was supposed to open, and he canceled out because there wasn't enough tickets sold.
Man.
And George
Nice.
came out and he said, sorry, Johnny canceled and everything. And then he goes, but I came here to jam, right? And he did,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
he put on a great
He's
show
like, I'm here
for
to
us
play
because
music, damn it.
yeah, well, we bought our tickets, right? So and he put on a great show. It was a great show. So George is underrated. He puts on a good show.
As far as
ZZ
someone who
Top-
works the, go ahead. I'm sorry.
ZZ Top was an awesome show too.
I bet.
As far as working the audience and interacting with people, Rob Zombie did really good for the shows that I've been to.
Yeah.
I've seen him twice. He really does interact, a lot of good
You know who
interaction.
does else? It does good at interacting? Snoop Dogg.
I bet he does. Yeah, he seems like there's a certain you can see like a correlation between their behavior.
When I saw Snoop, he was like, hey, someone throw me some an eighth of weed or like whatever. Someone threw him an eighth of weed, and he's like, who's gonna stop the cops that try to stop me from rolling the blunt on the stage? And it was like, yeah, because it was like in the 90s, It's like. And they were like, hey, yeah, no one's gonna stop you from fucking smoking that blunt, Snoop. And he just lit that bitch right up on stage and smoked it in front of everyone.
So the town I originally come from is in Missouri. It's like called Hannibal, Missouri. But they used to do big concerts there. And then they did this. There was this year where they had Ted Nugent and Pantera come.
Mm-hmm.
And Pantera, I guess they rolled like a I was too young. It was like before my time, but they rolled like a 2-foot long joint and smoked it on stage. And Ted Nugent was firing flaming arrows into the river and stuff. And in Hannibal, Missouri, never had concerts again after that.
Same day that I saw Snoop, I saw Ziggy Marley. And Ziggy Marley was really good too. Like as far as jam bands go, like getting the crowd interacting and dancing and shit, Ziggy Marley's good for that. Because it's like having Bob Marley in there. You know what I mean?
I saw Nugent when he still played music before he got out on stage and ran his mouth about politics. So it was a good show.
Polaris Amphitheater in I think it was in Columbus, Ohio, and Pantera went on stage for Ozfest. And after the end of Pantera's first song, there was a big field. The outside of it was like you could sit on the ground and stuff, There was not a blade of grass left in that place after the first song. They tore it all to hell. There were chunks of earth going over the fence. Pantera. That was probably the craziest show I've been to.
Pantera, yeah, I've seen Pantera once. I don't like Pantera because they're like super racist and stuff. But I've been to concerts where they were on the venue. I shouldn't say they are super racist. I don't know. The only person I know who's for sure super racist is Phil Anselmo, and he's
My favorite shows are always like in the backyard of somewhere. Like I saw a fish in the backyard in someone's backyard in Eugene.
A fish show isn't even about the music though.
Yeah, no. When you're in the backyard though, and Fish is playing, it's pretty sweet.
Fish is the funnest show you can go to for sure.
I've got a buddy that's serious into the Fish.
Man, I ate so much acid and mushrooms going through high school that I listened to Pink Floyd and like watched The Wall and all that crap like over and over and over, and so
you're not that old then. You're not that old. I did that
to the Beatles and shit. It was like just that kind of music because I guess I just ate a lot of acid was the thing.
We did
Walt Disney's Fantasia.
We did mushrooms. We had friends that we were friends with the chemistry instructor at the university, and he grew mushrooms in his basement, and we bought them from him.
Yep. I had lots of friends that grew many aquariums of mushrooms.
Oh man! Holy!
We got friends who grow aquariums of mushrooms now. Let's not even pretend.
Yeah,
I don't.
Fun.
All my friends exist on the internet now.
Yeah, so we have the same
Yeah,
friends.
that's
We have
true.
the same friends,
Same
Joe.
here. Yeah, same here. Same here. I mean, I do have a garden, but you know,
You're about a
So-
person away from
Wow.
knowing somebody either way. So yeah.
You know, like we all have the same romping crew,
yeah, we do.
to some degree or the other.
Right.
It's funny how that
Is Mage still here?
I'm still here.
Yeah. I was wondering
Mage.
he didn't chime in about the garden thing.
Dick
when
Van
he said, "I
Dyke.
got a
Well, me
garden
and Mage
about
have some
places
stuff
to
we
play."
gotta like bury and whatnot. I don't want to do it here publicly, but we do have stuff to. But it's cool. We're not. There's no beef, at least on my end or anything. I didn't want you to feel intimidated because I was here. If you do, I can leave.
No, it's fine.
I know we've had a couple rounds here a couple months ago. So, yeah.
I've completely forgot Mage was here because he's showing dick.
Yeah, that's still what's up on the screen.
Trying to blank it out, really.
And I got my junk out, so
like that was when
distracting everybody.
This is the dick pic, right?
Yes, this is the
Yeah.
dick pic.
we had one. You missed it. We had
you missed it, Bumblebee.
some joker came on with a 2-minute suckage.
Yeah, Joe
We
got
bombed.
3 times tonight.
We got
Oh.
bombed.
Yeah.
Do you know who's
Yeah,
doing that?
The 2-second suckage.
Wesley,
Tim
apparently,
Bob
maybe?
is the username.
Tim Bob?
Yeah.
Tim Bob. So
The Tim
Maya,
Bob that
Maya, if you take note, if you haven't banned Tim Bob, you might want to.
Yeah, we got
Oh.
Mm.
Yeah.
we got porn bobbed.
No, he was like using the users in the name in our chat.
Yeah, he used Michael N's
Yeah.
name and came on, and it was a adult video.
Yeah, I banned him.
So what you gotta do is leave them in the background, make them turn their cam on to flash, like make sure that you know who they are. Right?
I mean, I could,
Joe?
but most people aren't
No,
fucking
like-
assholes.
Yeah, but apparently someone is.
Yeah, well,
I just loved it. Okay, he totally got you. Whoever did that totally got you.
No,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
harder. Well, if you don't know the name, it's
I
one
was
thing.
there
Yeah, but when you
When
think
it
you
first
know the
happened,
name,
you were just
right?
like, I don't know what to do. I was like, should I join him and just be like, hey, Joe, it's cool, man. You know, it happens to every fucking YouTuber. Don't worry.
I just didn't say anything for 3 minutes. I was like, what the fuck is going on around here?
What was it doing? Was it just like somebody jiggling their junk or what?
Some chick sucking a big black dick.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a clip from an adult movie.
Okay, I get ya.
Well, so
Very loud too. It was cranked up really, really loud too. So it was like
And
I
he was
didn't see
laughing
it.
while
I
it
didn't
was
see it
playing.
at first. I heard it. I jumped because it was so loud through my speakers.
Well, I, for one, am ecstatic to have reached this level of my YouTube career.
You're a star.
Yeah, you're a mensch.
You're making the incels moist.
That's something I really don't aspire to is somebody flashing a.
Well,
no one needs to do that.
You're
That's
you're pissing
uncalled
off
for.
you're pissing off the right people if you're pissing off assholes though.
right, no doubt.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
The fact
That's true.
that people don't want to actually engage and say something on an open platform, they would rather do that, says more about them than it does.
Yeah, definitely. They don't want to shut your stream down because why?
Yeah, they didn't hit the channel called the Kentucky Atheist on accident. I'm pretty sure.
You don't have a pot boiling on your stove, do you?
Shit.
No. Should probably though.
Yeah, I had no idea what to do in the moment of that. They definitely got me good because
You're like,
well, I came on.
I
I don't know if you noticed, but for anybody that ever watches, I'm very rarely on stage by myself. I like to have somebody else to talk to and communicate with. I I blank out a lot, and
Hey man,
so
I'll come join you next time.
Yeah.
Now that you said that, so
so I was
Now
trying
that
to
I
manage
know.
things, and that happened, and I was like, "What the fuck, man!" I was getting
now
ready
that
to turn the
I'll
stream off.
rescue, I'll come rescue you early, so you're not like left.
I
hanging
didn't
there.
even know that was like a thing to do.
Oh yeah,
but-
Brett Keene's known for it.
Brett Keane. Oh,
Oh,
Don't ever
God, I
let
haven't
him
Yeah.
heard that
on
name
channel.
in
That's
ages.
part of the reason why
The
he disappeared
manatee,
for
the
so long.
manatee,
The manatee.
the manatee.
You know.
That's why he disappeared from the scene for so long, because he was like, he got like all his stuff shut down for being a gross pig like that and
Mhm.
doing that kind of nasty stuff. And he didn't,
Mhm.
yeah, he disappeared long enough for everybody to forget. And now he's back.
one of the
Oh,
only people I've ever, in fact, the only person I've ever reported on YouTube is Brett Keane.
Oh yeah. I make it a habit to report his videos. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like,
but that
like,
video definitely deserves
when he
it.
goes
My
on
day-
like
your
atheist
day
isn't
experience,
complete.
I'm like,
Your
hey,
day
you
isn't
guys,
complete
you know,
till you reported him.
he's known for porn bombing channels. They're like, oh, okay, and then they immediately kick him off the channel. And I'm like, sweet, you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
what video was it about? Was it something
Well,
he
it's
does a
not-
lot of
it started out comparing
Brett
atheists
Keane?
to Nazis and said that atheists want to are wanting to molest children, and
Okay,
and
of course.
then he started talking about
he can't stop talking about queer people, I'll tell you that. He doesn't
Well,
like
no,
they're always on his mind.
that was part of it
Yeah.
too.
He's
He
definitely a
included
little
that.
bit
He
gay.
lumped that in with it, and it was whenever he said, and I hate to even repeat it honestly, but
Go ahead.
child orgasms and stuff he started talking about, and I was just like, yeah, fuck you, dude. You're a fucking piece of shit, and yeah, you don't.
Dude, he's
You
the
don't
worst.
deserve-
He's
like-
the worst.
Like there has to be a line at where you don't deserve a platform to do things like that.
He was on like a channel, I remember a while back, and he was like, yeah, you gotta watch out for these people that'll just like, you know, try and like porn bomb your channel. I'm like, and I immediately like joined the channel and like, I was like you do, Brett? Like you do to people? And he was like, what? And I was like you do. You I've seen you do that to you did it 6 months ago or less than a year ago to someone. He's like,
See,
whoa,
I did not know this.
whoa.
I did not know this about that the manatee was going around,
Yeah.
you know, sort of doing that.
He's awful.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. You know what?
He
the video
still
he
shows
likes to
up in my
play-
comments.
He likes to
Really?
play the video of
Mm.
TJ, the amazing atheist, putting a banana up his rectum because he made a video of that.
Don't really think that that's apropos. It's like, but then again,
I've
That's
never,
what he does.
I've talked to, you know, maybe not a lot of theists on my channel, but I've talked to a lot of theists and stuff, and dealt with a lot of people with bad ideas, and tried to talk sense to people in many different settings. And
Same.
I have never once gotten truly like for real angry at someone. And Brett Keane was trying to get me to come on the show at first. And I was
You
like,
should.
well, let's go see what this dude's about, you know? And
He's
Robin had like appeared on there or something. And I was like, well, I'll go check him out. And I have, that's the first time, and I wasn't even talking to him, that I've truly been angry when I played a video. Like, just like, what in the, like, how is this allowed to exist? I couldn't believe that it hadn't been taken down yet. But I think it was like they had just posted it like within minutes of me seeing it.
Are you trying to tell me, Steph, that Brett Keane hasn't showed up in the comments under one of your video asking you to come on to his show yet?
No, I've been looking. in
Let
that regard.
me tell you this story about him real quick. He used to be an atheist, but he realized he could grift off Christians easier. That's why he became a Christian.
Oh, he's right.
That would be a, I guess, a thing.
That's the reality of the situation with Brett Keane.
Well,
That's
that makes
his
more
whole
sense
grift.
then.
That's the short of it. That's the short of it that I heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of fits. That follows, but yeah, like
that's really
I don't
sad,
ever take
you know.
things personally or
It
get
is,
mad
Stephanie.
about stuff, but like there's just something like just I don't know. Some people are pieces of shit though.
Yeah. There's a lot of them, unfortunately, and the I find that like a lot of people that are pieces of shit are exceptionally loud.
So for a while, I
You know?
kind of went like out looking for theists to talk to and stuff. Like when I first started doing live streams.
I do that, but I just go for like private conversations. Like I just go to their channels and try and talk to them.
Well,
like, in the
that's
side chat.
usually how I try to start it out. But like my plan was, hey, I'll go on Twitter and find some people on there to talk to, and that was just a mistake. Daniel that used to come on my show, that's where that dipshit came from.
Yeah, dude.
Speed says you got to say manatee 3 times, and then he'll show up.
Oh, I dare him to show up. Show up, Brett. Manatee, manatee, manatee.
That's what they say about Otangelo. Every time somebody starts talking about it, he
No,
shows up.
no, do not invoke him, please.
he doesn't visit my
He will
channel.
kill the stream
might
if no
Stephanie's,
one else
though.
does.
You never know. He gets around. You never know.
Speed
where he's
kept
gonna
him
show up.
around for quite a while and managed to keep him under control for a bit, but yeah, he's we're not going to keep him.
Otangelo.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who I am, so he doesn't mess with me.
Otangelo is a pain in my existence.
Yeah.
No, yeah. He's
Absolute pain in my existence. That asshole.
not a good person.
They theists tend to run for me like cockroaches.
Same here.
Speed used to play the Benny Hill song every time Otangelo showed up, but he kept getting a copyright strike.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here's
Here's
a pro tip for you. A pro tip for you. If you're ever on one of the lines, ever watching one of the line shows and feel tempted to mention Otangelo in any way, shape, or form in the side chat, you will be timed out.
He only lasted a couple of emails with me, so, and I was being nice, so he
was messing with GE yesterday or the day before.
He gets around. He gets around.
He's one of those people that I will avoid on purpose. It's like Darth Thoughts. You just don't talk to him. There's no. I have tried.
Funny.
It lasts like 2 minutes. You know.
Yeah, I just clown around with him anymore. I don't try to take anything serious.
Darth is definitely a chew toy. He's just ridiculous.
Yeah, but he's not even like a good chew toy. He's like, he is a chew toy. Though you're right. Good word.
Yeah, one of the best videos ever is Shannon Q and Darth's little encounter. It was just so funny.
Well, especially if you couple it with his
pointing and laughing, it was just so great, you know.
Yeah.
Especially if you couple it with the videos of him coping and seething in his little back room with all his stamps.
Yeah, but he's more of a disco debate bro, right? I mean, isn't that his?
Mute him.
I guess.
Mute him.
I think.
Where's the mod? Mute
worse.
him.
He's getting
okay.
Worse.
You're gone.
Older and grumpier, and like
he just wants to hear himself talk. I don't know why he bothers talking to anybody. He should just do like a blog or something and just say what he's got to say, because he doesn't want to listen to anybody else anyway.
That's why he wrote 2 fucking books, because nobody will listen to him, so he wrote it all down.
Yeah, why don't you read his book, Dave? Lazy Atheist.
Oh, the precepts. The precepts is what got me into Bigfoot. I tell everybody that I got so sick of the precepts, I just started saying, no, Bigfoot did it, prove he didn't. So that's what led to all the Bigfoot stuff. So they've annoyed me for a long freaking time.
The Bigfoot people, are they kind of like, I haven't interacted with them as much. Are they really sensitive too if you call them out on their bullshit?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think as much.
some of them are. Others are more
I mean, they're all the same, right?
more mellow.
All those little groups.
Well, they're not really bothering anybody. So, like, if you're
Yeah.
bothering them, you're really going out of your way to be a jerk, right? So,
Well, I mean, I don't know.
they're not trying to get their stuff into the schools, or they're not trying to pass laws,
Right.
or
But I think it's okay to poke at them. Be like, hey, do you guys even care if what you believe
you
is
don't
true
hear
or
about them
not?
having any strange compounds or anything like that going
That's
on.
true. There's
So,
no Bigfoot compounds.
hey, knock yourself out. James Apperson often brings up, why do we talk about Christians so often? It's like, well, because they're trying to do these things against people. You've got a lot of Native American tribes with their different beliefs and religions. Why aren't you talking about them? Well, because they're not bothering anybody with theirs. You keep it to yourself, and
if you keep it to
we
yourself,
don't have any
it's fine.
problems with it. Yeah.
I
Then
agree.
again, then again, I do remember back in the day with Voodoo 6 calling out some of the Bigfoot BS and them false flagging him for it.
Like I say, I like the Bigfoot because it's a cultural thing in North America. Different cultures have their beasties, and one of the big ones in North America is Bigfoot.
I think it's.
Have you
It's
ever
a lot of fun to
investigated?
Yeah, man.
talk about. So
Have you ever investigated the Jersey Devil? That's a good one too.
Yeah.
Jersey Devil's pretty cool.
That's
not yet, but I've heard of it. I've got so many things on my
Kinda
list.
Kind of like
I think I've done the
Mothman,
Jersey
a little
Devil.
different though.
No.
I tried to get caught up lately. Bree had recommended doing the Wood Woes, I believe.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
the
covered
British
that.
version. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the medieval Bigfoot. And then I had Big Bad Mama recommended the Borrego Sandman, which is kind of like a desert Bigfoot.
Right.
So I recently got caught up, and I had covered both of those.
Well, then you
because
gotta
they had-
do
they had
the
slipped me the-
Siberian one, right? Too, like the Yeti, right?
the Yeti story is mostly wrote up, and it's going to be paired with the Japanese snow lady story. So
Yeah, okay.
Was the Habagong from Japan too, from Mount Fuji? It's a Bigfoot-like creature, and then there's the orangapindek from Southeast Asia, like Indonesia. You got the yowie from Australia. So there's quite a you got a lot of stuff to work with. You got plenty of content ahead of you doing wild men, for real.
What's the orangapundek?
It's like they're like
a pundek in Thai.
Stephanie's like, I want to see that. Can you show?
They're little. They're like actually, did I do orangapindek? Maybe. No, I don't think so. Anyway, they're
There's
little. They're like little Bigfoot. They're like under 3 foot tall, and they live in the jungle.
Orangutan is the man of the forest.
And orangapindek is little man of the forest.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Boy of the forest. Child of the forest.
And then when they discovered the Homo florianensis, they're like, oh, that's a proof that orangapindek is real. It's a real thing. But if you watch the videos that people put out of orangapindek, there's indigenous Negrito people that live in this area, and they're small, like really small. If you watch the videos that people put out about orangapindek, it's almost always looks like they're catching glimpses of these little indigenous people doing their little indigenous things and being colonizer brained about it. They, they can't be human because they don't live the way we live.
I got a few more. Joe and I have been talking about doing your favorite breed. We're gonna do a show together and cover the Mothman. So
hey.
I got another one I'm working on for a Dogman show. So I got some things.
Dogman, that should be an interesting one.
Coming up for the Grassman here coming up. So
Michigan Dogman, Beast of Bray Road.
I can't give away the details yet. I'm going to let the
Okay,
guest.
yeah.
I'm going to let the guest give the details. Because I have somebody lined up that is an eyewitness account. So
An eyewitness account. Oh my goodness.
should be very interesting.
Does your eyewitness have documentation of this encounter?
We shall see.
Okay. Well, absolutely. Stay tuned, everyone.
I think that'd be really
All right.
good. And I've been hoping to get some people on, that have their own experiences. I'd love to hear that. So looking forward to it.
I can tell you about things I've seen in the woods, Dave.
Is this when you were high or?
Yes. Yes.
Did you see
Because I
Snoop
got
in the wood?
high.
No,
That's
like
BS.
Oh my gosh! I gotta use my AI generator to make a Snoop squatch. Oh my gosh!
BS and Gert did a stream the other night, and it was called I wasn't gonna stream, but then I got high. It was pretty good for
Kentucky's
420.
got all kinds of cool things in its woods. We got the blue people.
Y'all have the Kelly Hopkinsville goblins too, don't you? Those are freaking cool.
I'm not familiar with that one. But
Oh my gosh! I did. Here, let me drop this in your side chat
Yeah.
so that you can watch it.
Aren't there
It's
some
been a
kind
while.
weren't you telling me about some kind of ape men that live in the mountains down there too, Bree?
Oh yeah, the Appalachian Mountain Wildmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I live very close to the Appalachian Trail, where it picks up here.
That's what you saw when you were high. You just didn't realize it.
I've seen all kinds of stuff in the woods here that I didn't think was supposed to be there, but
my favorite meme for Bigfoot is, you may not have seen Bigfoot, but Bigfoot saw you.
Yeah,
I have seen Bigfoot. Actually, it was actually a escaped orangutan, but I have seen in that. But
well, like Bree brings up a lot, when you see things that you're not used to seeing, especially in a moving car, and it's nighttime out, and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them can seem, they can seem bigger than life. Especially to city slickers that don't realize how big some of that wildlife really is.
Important thing,
or dipshits.
an important thing to remember is that when someone's recounting these sightings and these encounters to the authorities or to the news media, they're recreating the event in their head, and their brains filling in blanks and.
Yeah,
and
they're making the event as they go. Yeah,
and every time you remember something, it's the same situation, right? But
yeah,
you're pumped through adrenaline and everything, and you could
there was
just enhance that much more.
What was that? Where it talked about every time you remember things, you fill in different parts of it with things that aren't true. So at any given time, you believe all these things happened that did not. And there was like some number they were able to pull out of it all, though. And I'll have to find that. It was interesting.
Yeah. Is that the one where they talk about like, oh, what color was the car? What color was the jacket? When they're talking about witnessing a crime. Is that the one? I think I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. That's it.
I can't remember. Ooh, I can't remember what the study was, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're
that's why eyewitnesses are great, but eyewitnesses can be wrong. So you have to be able to weed through it, on what did they actually see and what actually happened, because you can't take everybody's literal story, or you're just going to have a bunch of what you're going to see as conflicting stories. But the experts know how to weed through that stuff. But if you're going to take things literally, like a lot of people do, then you have a problem, because oh, I saw it, it was 5 feet tall. Well, the other person saw it, it was 10 feet tall. Now Bigfoot's 10 feet tall. So,
yeah. Yeah, whatever the most
Well-
sensational story is will be the one that gets told.
Has anyone measured Bigfoot's actual foot? To know how big
it depends on the claim. There are claims. A lot of them are frauds. Some of them are kind of in the gray area because they say
the original wooden feet were that were carved were 16 inches each.
Yeah, the guy walking around, but there are ones that supposedly have ridge lines and everything, like a footprint print, like a handprint, fingerprints type thing.
Yeah.
And those ones are the ones that are a little tougher to explain. So,
yeah.
But again, though, where did they get them? Who made them? Did somebody put the ridge lines in there? So.
Yeah.
But most of them, I think, they are explained by there was a bear trainer that showed bears step in their own tracks. So he steps in it with his big, huge front paw, and then he steps in it again with his big, huge back paw, and it distorts out, and it looks a lot like a Bigfoot track. So
okay,
the sightings and the tracks and the hair and the scalp and all these different things that have been turned over for evidence have all turned out to be bears. So
yeah, have you seen those videos of bears walking upright? It can look
I've seen
can
that
look
shit.
like can look like like.
Whoa, yeah.
All right, I have to take off, guys. Thanks for having me on, Joe. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
All right, Blaster.
Everyone
Thanks
else,
for joining
good
us.
talking to you guys. Take care.
Yeah.
so long, Blaster. It was fun.
Good night.
Good night. I think I'm actually going to wrap this thing here in just a second anyway. So everybody cool with that, right? I'm not like disappointing anyone, am I?
No. I was just saying one of the things I learned doing the show with trees is that black bears don't hibernate either. Not truly.
Yeah.
So
no bear truly hibernates. They go into a torpor.
Yeah, but odds are you won't run into most of them in the wintertime, but you can run into the black bears in wintertime. So there again, you can't exclude, well, no, it wasn't a bear because they were hibernating or whatever. It's like, no, you could have still seen a bear in wintertime. So
we used to have a bear get in our trash. It was a pain in the ass.
I'm glad I don't live in an area with bears.
There wasn't many. There's not many where I live. It's rare to see them, but there's for sure some.
At least one.
We have deer. We have a lot of deer around.
There's at least one that tore the fuck out of my trash at least twice a week for 10 years.
We have a lot of deer in this area. That's about it for the wildlife.
Yeah, we got deer and raccoons and possums and.
I've seen them in. One night I was sitting here and I glanced over and something caught my eye on the security camera, and I was like, "There's like a huge dog out front." And I looked closer. I stood up and I walked over. I looked at it closer and I'm like, "What the heck? It's eating my wife's flowers." It was a deer.
Yeah.
But on this, security camera at night, it's, black and white, all kind of goofy looking, So I'm like, what's that huge dog doing out in the front yard,
I mean, like Eastern Kentucky is cool for stuff like that. There's a ton of like state forest parks and lakes and wildlife and hiking and beautiful landscapes and all that shit. It's pretty cool. Just like don't talk to the people and you'll be fine.
We got a lot of great parks here and everything. And, up north here, we're bordered by Lake Erie. So, we've got that, everybody along the northern end here, like my uncle, may rest in peace, always out on the lake fishing and everything and stuff. So.
Yeah. I grew up fishing. Like that was the thing, for my childhood, grab the fishing poles in the tackle box and walk down to the marina, the boat docks, and fish like every day.
Well, I think my dad and my uncle like taking us boys because it upped the limit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because you used to be able to pull like 30 or 50 perch per person or something. So
Yeah,
my uncle had 2 boys, my dad had 2 boys, so
yeah.
yeah, we could really pack the coolers and pack the freezer with fish.
Yeah. I didn't eat it. I live on the Ohio River. We don't eat that shit. So, but
Oh, Lake Erie perch is very good.
I bet. I bet.
We used to like to get like steak and lobster or something, for when we have
Ohio River shitfish.
for our anniversary dinner, and stuff. And the other year, we had lake perch instead, which is not cheap, by the way.
Yeah.
And I said, I think I'd rather have that than lobster. It was just delicious.
Lobster. We don't have
Yeah,
lobster.
lobster's okay, but the steak is the best part. The steak is the best part.
Well, lobster is best when it's off the boat.
Yeah,
I'm inland here, so but
No, I know.
we have the lake right here though.
It does ship, but it doesn't last. It's got to be packed right. It's not packed right.
Yeah, like I say, we would come back from fishing. I would have Lake Erie perch that was just wiggling a few minutes ago. So I've had it fresh.
Ohio River sucker fish.
Oh, the picnic table would be full of fish guts. My dad and my uncle would be out there cleaning fish and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't really eat them. I just caught them and threw them back in the water. But I never. That's one thing. Everybody's big into hunting here and stuff. I was never really into that either. I didn't really care for it.
I was talking to Missing Mod Speed. We were talking a little bit earlier today. I was on her stream, so yeah, I know about it.
But anyway, I guess let's get out of here, guys. Anybody want to talk about anything before we leave? You're welcome to. Here's your big chance.
Well,
No.
What you got coming up next?
Bree and I are gonna obviously pump up the transpositions. It's a new channel.
Yeah.
Reorganized and it's news, news of about trans folk in the news and stuff.
Well, that's
news, sports, and weather. We haven't figured out what to say about the weather yet, but there's plenty of news and sports. It's Bree and myself and Ember Bellerad and Carly Chardonnay Webb. Carly is a woman who worked for 18 years for ESPN, and she is she's an outstanding writer and a very, very personable person.
sweet.
And she's kind of our sports department.
And she'll be like leading up, like handling our sketches and stuff too. So we're gonna do some comedy as well.
Yeah,
so that's coming.
She's great.
When does that start? When haven't got a date yet, or?
We are on episode 5.
We're live.
Oh, I see. I don't have time. I know nothing of this.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. 7 Central.
It makes sense why Bree first showed up in the comments with the other thing now, though.
Unintentionally, yeah.
No.
I was just logged in for that. Yeah.
I enjoyed the show you're putting together. Good job.
I will whenever we close out here, I'll add your guys' stuff to the link. That way people can find it there in the description if they happen to look. Some of these videos get a few views after they go off, so this one may get taken down.
Yeah.
Well, you can always edit out that little bit and put it back up again. So
I got a bunch.
We got the next shows coming up this Thursday, and coming up hopefully, we were hoping to have an interview with a professional pickleballer.
Oh, sweet.
Boy.
Last Sunday, but she just got back from a tournament, so
a huge tournament.
Hopefully,
you're not helping Bree by saying huge.
Well, it was my fault because what I did was I scheduled her to come on the same day that she got back from that tournament, and she was like totally wiped out.
I'm just being childish.
Right.
Pickleballers already, I could already see the comments. I'm just.
Yeah.
And then you
hey,
said it's huge.
What's funny is it's a real coincidence. My skipper, the guy I sail with on a couple of boats, he's got an Etchells and a J24, and he is a very, very devoted pickleball player. And when he first got into it, it's like, what the fuck's this all about?
What's
But
with the
it's big.
names and cornhole too? I mean, are they picking the names intentionally just to make the jokes or?
Pickleball's like the pickleball's been around since I was in junior high. We played it back then, but like it was basically what they invented pickleball for was because they wanted us to be able to play tennis in the gym, but you can't play tennis in the gym on a gym floor, but you can bounce a wiffle ball on a gym floor. And they made use like back then we used to use the little tennis rackets, but they used special like a hybrid between a tennis racket and a ping pong paddle is what they use. But it's a really interesting dynamic of a sport. It really is a hybrid between ping pong and tennis.
Do not play strike out with a basketball. That's how I busted open my eyebrow.
Anyway, her name is Sarah Weiss. You can Google her. She's got there are several articles out there on the interwebs, and she's really quite a fascinating person. We're gonna most of it's going to be the two of us talking about the passion that we both have for our respective sports, and and our status as transgender women in playing at a professional level in both of those sports is going to be a sideshow, really, as far as the discussion is concerned. At least that's where it's probably going to land, because mostly that is a sideshow for us. Not that it's just it's too much fun to go sailing, and it's too much fun to play pickleball. Apparently,
pickleball's a big thing here.
Yeah,
people like to do it. I think it's stupid.
We got disc golf around here.
Yeah, well, you should talk to Canadian Ollie Man then.
Oh, no,
Canadian
I
Ollie
mean,
Man's
for people who are serious about it, I'm glad that they do.
Jim Hall too.
Whatever. Just not a thing that interested me. Is all. That's all. I shouldn't say it's stupid. That's not nice.
I like that it takes up less space than tennis, because that's mostly my bitching about any kind of sport is how much space they take up in order to be able to provide facilities for them. Just because I'm a nerd and I like
over at the park over here. You can play for free too. So
cool, sweet.
Yeah, so hopefully that'll be next Sunday at 5. We'll see.
Well,
if it works for Sarah.
I shared your channel and linked to a bunch of stuff and everything just now, so
I just saw something.
Help.
Thank you.
I just saw something to show. We got Purple Rhymes with Orange has been doing a show on Saturday. He's on autism at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can go check that out. Apparently, we've actually helped some people with that. Apparently, so it's cool.
Awesome,
excellent. That's great.
Yeah. I like that. I've watched parts of each of the ones that she's done, but
I say I got a bunch of stuff penciled in and half done and in progress. So coming soon. But it's been nice out, so I got to get out and work on the pond. So I've spent a bunch of days out there cleaning it all up, getting all the dead stuff cut out and all that. So
the screwed up thing about like deciding to make content and stuff is that now I have no time to go and watch the content that I usually watch. So I miss so much stuff where I'm gone all the time now, and it sucks.
Yeah, that's why I said it's nice out, and it's like, oh yeah, screw you two.
I never know.
I'm going outside.
Got people coming in with videos and stuff for me and all of that, and I have no clue what's going on half the time.
I like making a video when
I just show up.
Yeah, I like to be in the mode to make one. I don't like to force myself to make one. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's not
Funny.
flowing out, if the words aren't, coming right out into a script, and I don't have the video already cut up to the chunks I want, and everything, then it's like,
I'm working on a recorded video about Joyce Meyer, but
yeah, you said you were going to tackle what do you call them? The scumbag series, Scum of the Earth series. I like that.
Yeah.
I've been working on a video on GMOs. That's going to be a long thing there.
Yeah.
That's a lot to cover.
Yeah, and more I go down into it, more shades of creationism tactics I'm seeing with the anti-GMO crowd.
Well, the GMOs feed the world, so I mean,
right.
What are you gonna do?
By anti-GMO crowd, you mean dipshits, right? Is that where we're at again?
That's the hungry people. Yeah.
The hungry people.
Not much left. Yeah.
It would be funny if it wasn't so serious that people just do things over such stupid nonsense. Like,
well, didn't Mage say early? Was it you, Mage, that said something about the people that are only all natural, and that soda pop isn't natural, but arsenic is, right? Which one do you want to have a glass of, right?
Yeah, we got a 12-ounce can of soda. That's not natural. A 12-ounce can of arsenic. That's natural. So drink up.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of Grace Slick, poison oak is a natural plant. Why don't you put some in your food?
Yeah.
Natural doesn't equal healthy or good or anything else.
Right.
And I mean, isn't it all natural, kinda? I mean, like,
well, one of the moms, whatever type crowd was had a video that she won't put anything into her body she can't pronounce, and I'm like, that's not a good standard. I mean,
you best get a dictionary, bitch.
Yeah, just because you can't pronounce it. Yeah, so just terrible arguments. Just terrible. Yeah. Oh, did you see the who was covering it? Somebody was covering the video of the woman that bought the device that hydrogenates your water.
Huh?
No.
This is a device that's on the market.
Well, you don't want to have unhydrogenated water.
Does it turn it into ozone?
She actually said water isn't naturally hydrogenated.
Yeah,
except for the hydrogen.
You can see the bubbles in it. See, it's fizzing. That's the hydrogen.
Yeah, you really need to get your supplemental hydrogen. Well, it's okay. It's like hydrogen peroxide. Okay, that's
only in this country could you sell a device that hydrogenates your water.
So
I don't know how these people don't accidentally drink bleach and off.
Well, they were urged to drink bleach by the president of the United States. That's the problem.
Well,
we told my wife,
stick a flashlight up their ass. I mean, for God's sake.
I told my wife, what's the blonde girl from the morning show that used to be on with Regis?
Kelly Ripa.
Kelly, yeah. She was doing the commercial about the lemon-flavored alkaline water.
And while you're getting your
it's like even my wife got that. Even my wife got that right off the bat. She's like, lemon's an acid. You put lemon in alkaline water and it's neutral. It's
actually the first liquid that came to mind for me was, but of course I have an odd mind, was piss, and I go, no, it can't possibly be that.
It's not that.
We'll also sell you those DVD rewinders along with your hydrogen, your water, your oxygen.
So my wife. I'm not dissing on my wife. She's not, but she's not a science nerd or anything like that, But she picked up on it real quick. It's like, wait a minute, you put lemon in alkaline water. That's what they do. So
you say it's not piss, but there's people out there drinking that too. Like,
it's a cure-all. And what is it from? What is it? The camels or the cows or one of those things.
Oh, they're drinking all the piss.
Bathing
all
in
of it.
bathing
all,
in it and
all
stuff.
the piss.
And for those who don't know,
Put it in their eyes.
Piss is not
Probably.
sterile.
Our cousins across the pond is like, that's such a great, one of my favorite British phrases is taking the piss.
Yeah.
Taking the
yeah.
piss out of, It's a good phrase.
I don't know. There's just so much of that crap all the time. The what about the people that think that they can breathe air and they don't need to eat and all that stuff?
Breatharians.
Breatharians. Let's see how sustainable that shit is after about a month.
There was that woman. That woman lasted not 2 weeks in a hotel room when they tried to put her under a controlled thing. Yeah,
you dumb fucks, starving yourself to death.
Not eating anything, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you are eating air, I guess. But I don't know. It's no wonder that so many people believe in so many stupid fucking things.
All I need is the air that I breathe.
And I mean,
yeah, until you put them in a room with a camera, and then all of a sudden they're not looking so good after a few days.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mention the Snickers bars.
Yeah, you didn't let me have my Snickers bars. Jeez,
wait a minute.
If I hold my toe like this, you can't knock me out. That the one guy, the fake. Oh, he was a fake martial arts guy. He said, if I hold my tongue in my cheek, you can't knock me out. That nullifies the attack.
There was
that kind of stuff.
I just saw a video with one of those guys where he's in a match with a guy that's actually ready to, throw some punches. And they go, go ahead, fight, whatever the word is, to start. And he comes out.
Yeah.
He bops him a couple of times, and he goes over and he talks to the referees like, "Hey, this guy's actually throwing punches."
It turns out I'm full of shit.
I'm phony here. It's like the Three Amigos where they come over here and they're using real bullets. Those guys are entertaining.
Oh, sweet.
Sometime in June, I might show up on Takis again. That's talking about doing that, so that'll be fun.
I don't know. I mean, I got some big guests coming up, I guess, but it's I wish we could hurry up and do that. That would be fun.
We got what? But, almost a month. Almost a month from now.
Yeah, Matt comes on the 13th and Aaron on the 19th. That'll be fun though. That'll be a lot of fun because I'm gonna have some fun with that. I've thought about it, and I think it'll be fun. So it's gonna be.
Are you gonna talk about snakes?
We are
snake people on. Yeah.
Yeah, we are gonna bring up some snakes. Yeah, for sure.
Sweet.
But
I told you, that's a winner with both of them because they both have snakes.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
you can't go wrong.
I told Matt in the email. I said, "Bring snakes if you want." I said, "It's just a chill thing. We're going to talk about some debate stuff and hopefully just have a good time." So,
if you have dead air, you can always say, hey, tell me about all these snakes. I mean, right there, you got plenty to talk about. So.
No, I don't think, because like the show with Matt will be, there'll be me and Azzo and Robin on there with Matt. So I don't think that will be, because that's just going to be more of a like hangout and just talk about some important stuff, but have a good time, really. Just chill and talk to people. But so I don't think I'll have to worry about it there. Now with the one on R, and I may lock up and not know what to do with myself. I was that's something I've been excited about doing since I started this, and so
get the Wayne's World clip. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
The weird thing is like I've talked to Aaron on Twitter a number of times. I've talked to him through email a number of times, but I mean before this. But I'm excited to have him come on and
I've had a few comments on
particular
Facebook.
variety of
Nothing big or anything, but he did give me condolences on Facebook when I had that thing posted about putting my
Yeah.
dog to sleep. So
Oh,
that was nice. That was nice of him.
Well,
I've worked on a few of Aaron's videos myself.
Hey, you're a star, Bree.
Phylogeny videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's been a
Those
good
are my
day.
favorite.
It's been a good
Bree's
dog
already
day
a
for
star.
me. It's actually my dog's birthday today.
Oh,
Well,
happy
see,
birthday!
whenever I originally asked Aaron to come on, I said that I wanted to like specifically talk about phylogeny, and I do, and there's a couple things I want to say about it, but not, but then I kind of backtracked on that, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, like, me and Aaron kind of have the same experience being raised by extremely religious people in religious places, and he's young Earth creationists have kind of been his pain in the ass for his whole life and mine too. So I was like, yeah, we can hit on those things, but I'm just gonna kind of bullshit with him. I think
We both did
think I
some
can wing
CMI videos a couple weeks ago, and it was kind of cool. I was like, hey, Aaron Ra did a couple, and so did I. I was like, great minds think together, or think alike.
Yeah, I just for me, when I make a structured video, it just feels fake. It just feels, it doesn't feel like, it just feels fake. That's just the right word to say. It just feels.
That's why I go with the how I feel, because sometimes I'm like, I want to make my video, and other times I just go live and I just kind of, talk about it.
Yeah.
So kind of depends how I feel, and I just kind of go with how I feel.
I mean, if I don't think that, I don't know. I just don't think that I would look right playing the dancing monkey role in this case.
If I want to attack specific things, I like to make a video where I can just, I can attack those specific points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's generally just goofy, then you can just generally kind of just talk about the whole thing.
Well, I try to have a plan for things, but I suck at that. So
I've stopped halfway in the middle. I'm going along, and then I just decided, nah, I really don't want to make this video, so I just delete. And so, yeah.
Well, it just felt like
it sounded good at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. But
so yeah, sometimes you think, oh man, I got a good retort to this and everything and stuff, and then I start making it, and I'm like, it really ain't all that.
I've got a whole folder of completed videos that I just won't even publish, like already ready to go. And I go back and look at them, and I'm like, no, I don't like that.
I've had to abandon a few videos.
I got a couple in DaVinci that I'm working on, and then my Yeti is mostly a script, because it's for Grassman. So I've got the script about 3/4 done, I'd say.
I did a video a while back about, like, I was just going on about the 10 Commandments or something, and that video, there was a whole different plan for how that was supposed to go and be written, and it was supposed to actually be kind of funny. But then at the last minute, I was just like, no, I'm going to do it now. I'm just going to go read this right now, and it'll be fine. So it turned out kind of odd. But I guess that's what I get.
Well, like we were talking, though, sometimes, we can be making something, and then you just see a video, and you're just like, oh, I got to respond to that. And I'll put other stuff aside, so totally sidetracked, and then I got to refocus into making a new one. It's like, oh, this was just bugging me too much.
Most of the time, if I read or come across, like, especially like young Earth creationist crap, where they're just absolutely lying about some scientific principle or quote mine some scientific thing, those are the things that catch my attention real quick, and I go and I'm like, that's not how this works. That's not how anything works.
Yeah,
that's just what you imagined. I do some of that, but
I get some venting out now, because AIG under new management, whoever has been doing stuff on social media has opened up the live chats and the comment sections that were never open before.
Well,
So I get to make a few comments that I been denied the last few years because Ken Ham had me blocked everywhere.
The weird thing that I experience with trying to talk to theists on the internet and specifically young Earth creationists is that, to me, I'm used to hearing that shit. Like what most people would see as the most, the young Earth creationist standouts, the Kent Hovens and fuck Ken Hams and all that. Like, there's 17,000 of those outside my door right now. They're everywhere out there. So sometimes it doesn't register to me when people say things. I'm like, yep, there's another crazy thing. And I don't even think about it. And there's plenty I can make videos about. But
Al, did you see my post in the community tab? Is that what you're talking about, Al? Yeah, James Tour put out a thing that, a bunch of my colleagues are accusing me of not being a great scientist and be plagiarizing stuff, and
it's not.
I'm gonna put out response videos, and it's like, oh, here we go.
Oh fuck.
And Al saw it. Okay, yeah, and that should be special. I'm wondering if Professor Dave's already on it too.
I'm sure.
Because some of the people he's talking about have been on Professor Dave's show that have been talking about.
He'll pick it up.
Working with James Tour, so
yeah,
I think I already know who the.
Yeah,
I think I already know who the people are he's crying about.
So there's a link for Dave's channel in the description, guys, because that video will be out by the time you see this.
I'm working on one with. I'm working on a John Lennox one, and one of the videos I was watching is when he's talking with James Tour. And, I just had my fill of Tour lately.
Yeah.
But John Lennox, he's another special. I'm putting together a video on John Lennox next. So
I guess with that, let's get out of here. So thanks to everybody that's watching. Thanks to you guys watching on Stephanie's channel as well. And I don't know that there was really anything useful in this conversation, but we had a lot of fun just talking about things. So, that's worth it.
I did create Snoop Squatch. Dave has it now. That's a win.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And
here we go.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and edit this video, I guess now. But
Snoop Squatch, that's awesome.
At least it's only a few seconds you have to take out.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not hard to find either.
That's a great job, Bree.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here.
There you go.
Oh,
Snoop Squatch.
Yeah.
That turned out good.
That did turn out good.
It's even got 4 fingers. How'd you manage that?
I have a new AI that I'm using. It's a lot better. It's higher end though, so I had to pay for it. But
so
how much I use.
I'm getting ready to mess with Photoshop's generative AI stuff, and try to learn how to use some of that new stuff that they put out.
Google's got a free one that they got on the tools thing now too.
Well, the generative AI in
if you just want simple stuff, I mean.
In the new Photoshop thing they released, it's kind of neat. It's Joe Scott did a video on it, I think. Today.
I think GIMP is gonna come out with some stuff, some AI tools too.
I'm sure. But
somebody mentioned it somewhere. Yeah.
And see, every time somebody says something, I just get off track.
Sorry.
So no, it's fine. It's fine. It's not. It's no one other than me. I promise. Thanks everybody for watching.